Welcome back to my channel. Today's video we have your 2025 year ahead prediction. I am so excited about today's video. This is like the biggest prediction of the year where we're gonna look at your entire year ahead. If you are new here, what I do is I read the tarot cards and the oracle cards to bring you information for your highest good at this time. And of course, this one is all themed around what you can expect through the year of 2025 for you. And then the way that this video works is I have 5 different groups in front of me, and you are gonna intuitively choose one of these 5 groups. Occasionally, you may be drawn to multiple groups, and that's just because there's multiple messages for you in today's video. But most of the time, there's gonna be one pile that's gonna stand out amongst the rest, and your intuition knows exactly which group is gonna hold the relevant information for you. Your intuition knows exactly which pile is gonna resonate with you and which pile is connecting with you. So each of these groups is going to hold different information within it, of course, and the way that you can intuitively choose a pile is either by visually being drawn to one of them, or again, sometimes multiple. It depends on you and your energy, but maybe you looked at the thumbnail and you felt magnetically called towards one of the groups. Maybe one of them just stood out amongst the rest. Or if you're not being visually called to one of the piles, another trick that I really like to use is I like to use my hand and I slowly go over each of the piles, just feeling what I feel as my hand glides over each group. And then I see if there's one that stood out to me more. Maybe I felt like a magnetic pull through my hand as I glide over one of them. Or sometimes you'll feel like a hot or cold sensation, or there'll just be a different feeling that you get over one of the groups. And that is, again, your intuition speaking to you. Your intuition is a powerful, subtle force that is always there. It is always with you. You can always tap into it. And those are some methods of tapping into it, either by visually looking at the piles and seeing one that stands out, or by using your hand to feel which one just gives you a different sensation. So that is a few different ways to tap into your intuition and choose a pile. Once you're done choosing your pile, there's going to be timestamps linked down below in the comment box as well as the description box so that you can easily navigate through this video to your particular reading, all about what you can expect through the year of 2025. So that is all about how this video works. And for those of you that really enjoy getting a close-up of the crystals, I'm also going to give you a close-up of each of the crystals so that you can see and tap into the energies that are on each of the piles. But I also want you to know that if you need to take more time at any point, you can always pause the video in order to take all the time that you need to tap into your intuition. But usually your intuition speaks very quickly, I will say that. Usually your intuition is like a very quick feeling that comes in immediately. Don't question it, don't doubt it. Your intuition always knows, okay? So yes, with that being said, here is a close-up of each of the crystals on group number 1. We have this beautiful Angel Aura Quartz crystal. So if you find yourself drawn to this particular gemstone or to pile number 1, then that is going to be your reading, all about what you can expect through 2025. Then our next group, we have this beautiful green fluorite for group number 2. So if you find yourself drawn to this crystal or to group number 2, then that is going to be your reading. Group number 3, we have this beautiful opalite crystal. So if you're drawn to group number 3 or to the opalite, then that is going to be your reading. Then group number 4, we have this beautiful sunset aura quartz. So if you find yourself drawn to this crystal or to group number 4, then that is going to be your pile. And then group number 5, we have this gorgeous amethyst. So if you're drawn to the amethyst or group number 5, then that is going to be your reading. So again, take as much time as you need, even pause the video if you would like, in order to find out which pile you are the most drawn towards, but just keep in mind that usually your intuition speaks to you very quickly, and it will be like the first intuitive feeling that you get, the first initial reaction that you get towards the groups. That is your intuition speaking to you. So that would be the pile for you. And I cannot wait to get into this video. I hope you are excited as well. And without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, my group number ones, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. So starting off with our Astro Dice, let's go ahead and see what your overall themes are for 2025. So we have Jupiter in Capricorn in the 11th house. So Jupiter is the planet of abundance and expansion and travel, philosophy, higher learning. It's a very expansive and abundant planet. A lot of people say that Jupiter actually just brings good fortune. And so the fact that you have Jupiter coming up for you as a main overarching theme for 2025, I would definitely say this is going to be an abundant year for you that is going to be full of good fortune. The things that are going to happen to you are going to be things that are leading you to like higher expansiveness, higher abundance, and welcoming in more. The fact that we also have Jupiter in Capricorn specifically, Capricorn strives to be better. Capricorn also strives to get to the top. So I feel like this is a climbing year for you where you are climbing to higher levels of being, higher levels of yourself. It could also be a very productive year for you as well, since Capricorn is very associated with productivity. Being in the 11th house deals with the world. It's also the house of friendships, and it's also the house of networking, new opportunities, world travel, world exploration, and it can also be a very public type of house. So for some of you, if you do work in media or if you do any sort of work where public recognition would benefit you, this is a year where I see you climbing that ladder and getting more recognition, getting more worldly known, if you work in some sort of field that would benefit you. For others of you, occasionally, okay, and this is just a message for maybe about 20% of you watching this, because this is ultra particular, you're gonna know whether or not that this is for you, but when Jupiter is in the 11th house, occasionally it can also talk about moving to another country or moving somewhere across the world. If that is not in the cards for you and that just doesn't make any sense, then Jupiter being in the 11th house would also indicate a lot of travel or a lot of freedom. So being able to explore countries that you've never been to before just for the purposes of travel or work, things like that, for those of you that might not be actually moving across the world. But yeah, so Jupiter being in the 11th house is definitely those types of big, expansive sort of opportunities, those different expansive experiences. And it can also bring in more recognition, especially worldly recognition. For those of you that worldly recognition doesn't really make sense, then I would say that this is definitely just an expansive year where travel is probably going to be involved, opening up more freedom, and also the people that you are going to be meeting this year are going to be quite significant. So yeah, like networking, meeting people that can really help uplift you, people that are going to be in your life that actually genuinely like make you feel like you are abundant in your connections. You know, the type of people that you meet and you just feel like, wow, I am so lucky to know that person, or somebody that you even look up to that you're like, wow, I just met that person, and maybe they are going to play an important role in your life, etc., etc. So you are going to be meeting some really important people this year that also unlock more opportunities for you or just bring in a lot of good fortune and a lot of support. So that is what we have coming up with our Astro Dice as some of the main themes that your year is going to bring you in 2025. But let's go ahead and go into our next set of cards here. These ones, we're gonna get one card that's gonna explain more of the overall theme and energy of 2025 for you. So let's see. Ooh, that one wants to come out. So we have Temperance. Temperance is a card that resembles blending and mixing of two different things. So this could be where we are collaborating, or for some of you, you might be making a really important transition or welcoming in new skills or new modalities that are going to help bring you to the next level. Another thing that temperance also talks about is doing things with more moderation. So anytime that you have maybe excessively pushed yourself in the past or excessively done certain things, temperance kind of brings us back into balance. So anything that was out of balance in your life, whether that was your schedule might have been out of balance, this year I see that you're going to be bringing it more into balance, and that's going to be one of your major focuses, is how can I find balance and ease and a breath of fresh air in my life. So there could be different things that you're blending in, kind of like what I was talking about when we initially got this card. It's sort of like blending in new modalities, new skills, new circumstances that are going to help bring you into more balance. So for those of you that might be a business owner, for example, this could be hiring help in order to bring your schedule more into balance, just for example. Or this could be like, for those of you that want more of a work-life balance, this could be doing things where you are taking that more seriously and implementing ways of creating that. Or even other imbalances such as habits or patterns that kind of kept you out of balance. Temperance is really like we're doing some self-improvement and we're finding ways to bring in that balance. But let's see what else we get. I definitely see that 2025 is going to be like a big year, but it's also a year where you're going to feel more in balance yourself. You're going to feel more in tune. You're going to feel more relaxed, even though it seems like this is a year that's also bringing in a lot of success at the same time. So we also have the Ace of Cups being reversed as one of your first cards to come out. When this one comes out, it can indicate that this is also a year where you're looking at things that used to drain you and you're no longer wanting to feel that way. You're no longer wanting to feel drained. You're no longer wanting to feel a lack of fulfillment. I feel like during this last year, there was things that maybe took away your energy or just made you feel really tired or even uninspired. This is a year where I think that you are seeing what fills your cup. And it's so interesting because if you look at the original depiction of the temperance card, it's a woman who is blending 2 cups of water. And the fact that we have the Ace of Cups being reversed here, this is a year where you are looking at things that would just steal your energy without being very reciprocative back to you. So such as maybe doing certain work that wasn't very lucrative, or spending your time giving so much to others, but then they didn't give back to you, etc., etc. I think you're going to be looking at all the different things in your life that would cause an imbalance, that would cause a drainage of your energy, but weren't replenishing for you. They didn't offer anything back. You are going to be really starting to look at what those things were and getting rid of them in your life. I also think that when it comes to your time, energy, and your resources, such as like money or other things like that, you're also really wanting to keep those in balance as well, rather than having, other people maybe take advantage of you, or rather than having habits that seem to drain you but not replenish you. So yeah, that could be like even things regarding like diet or how we spend our money, etc. That is all the things that I feel like you're going to be much more aware of this year and wanting to fine-tune that and fix that. So we also have the Queen of Swords coming out as your next card, and she represents somebody who becomes so clear about what they want in life, like such a clear direction, and there's so much more direct. I feel like another aspect of your personality is definitely going to be shifting in terms of no longer are you going to allow people or circumstances to take advantage of you, basically. Queen of Swords is like, I'm here to be honest. I'm also here to be direct. She's much more to the point. And I'm almost hearing that maybe some of you used to sugarcoat things, or maybe had a hard time fully letting your emotions out. Something like this. Queen of Swords is coming through being like, it is time to be direct. It is time to step into being more of an authority figure and to be more authentic in who you are. So this is a year where I think you're finding your voice, and I'm almost seeing you stepping more into your power, especially when it comes to leadership or explaining what it is that needs to get done, or what it is that you expect, or what your boundaries are. Queen of Swords, she has no problem saying no. She also has no problem saying, okay, here's the truth, here's my perspective, here's how I see it. So she has no problem doing that. She is also really good at listening as well. So listening to others and seeing things from their point of view as well. She's just very discerning and very intelligent in those ways. So I just feel like your mind is expanding, and you're also allowing yourself to trust yourself more, to trust your own mind, to trust your own opinions, to trust your own thoughts, which I think is going to help you so much in this next year. King of Cups is also being reversed here. So this can represent a person, a significant person in our life. So can Queen of Swords. But the court cards, which are the people cards, can also represent aspects of ourself. So on one hand, the King of Cups being reversed, representing an aspect of you, could indicate that perhaps emotionally you were going through a time where maybe reflecting back on 2024, there was some ups and downs, or perhaps there was like a lack of fulfillment or a lack of nurturing the self. So the cups deal with nurture, it deals with emotional balance, it deals with emotional fulfillment. And when they're reversed, it can indicate aspects where we weren't honoring those things or we weren't prioritizing those things. And I think 2025 is a year for you where you are going to be seeing what that was, especially because temperance was like this main theme for you. And these cup cards being reversed, this is a year where you're really going to be looking at all of those more nurturing sides that you might need, like self-care. I feel like your soul has been calling you to focus more on self-care, to focus more on self-fulfillment. And also, if you're somebody who gives a lot, by the way, without expecting anything in return, this might be a year where you're starting to be like more discerning about who you give to. Because at the end of the day, we can't just overly give without giving back to ourselves or without having a full cup ourselves. And I think that that's something that you're realizing is like, I can't just give endlessly without replenishing my energy, without replenishing what I need. And so this is going to be a really important year of being able to say no, to be able to be more discerning about what you choose to do and who you give your energy to, who you give your time to, what tasks you give your energy and time to. And again, this is going to be what leads you to more balance. So there is going to be moderation in your life, and it's going to be moderation on those things that would steal your energy, or the things where maybe you were almost running on empty before. And I think that you're going to be looking back realizing that there was certain things that made you run on empty a little bit, and you're kind of seeing how that maybe wasn't the best way to live, and that wasn't the best way to approach what needs to get done. Because when we do tasks from a place of being drained and empty, those tasks are very hard to complete. And then even as we are completing them, they're not going to be done to the best of our ability because we had no energy to really put into them. And it's almost like trying to take a car when it's running on empty and trying to take it a really far distance. Like, it's just going to be not going to maximum speed. It's going to be putt-putting. It might even burn out partway through. And then, if you don't fully replenish the gas tank, that scenario is just going to repeat all the way until you finally get to your destination, right? It's going to be the car breaking down, putt-putting along, not going its full distance or to its full potential. So I feel like what you're seeing in yourself right now is like, wow, it is actually going to be really important for me to fill up my gas tank, to fill it up all the way so that I can run on more efficiency, so that I can have a rejuvenated, replenished self, so that I can actually, you know, the things that I do choose to give my energy to, I can give my all, I can give my 100% rather than, you know, just drifting along and all of that. So that is the first few cards. We also have the Lovers coming up for you. So relationships are definitely going to be significant in 2025. There's going to be really important connections that you make. Some of you, this could be really important business partnerships, because the Lovers, it can represent, you know, actual partnership, like attracting a lover. It can represent higher levels of commitment with that lover, or it can represent really important, significant business partnerships, or really important friendship partnerships as well. So it can represent all those significant type of relationships. So one thing I can say for sure in 2025, since we have this card coming up for you, relationships are going to be so significant, and being in the 11th house as well. The 11th house is usually business or friendship related. So I do think that there's going to be really important connections you make there. So if some of you are wanting to like create new business partnerships, find new clients, expand your clientele, that's going to be hugely happening. If you are wanting to connect with people who can help you expand and network and bring in new opportunities, that is going to be happening. For those of you that want to make really important friendship connections or collaborative projects, that is looking extremely good for 2025. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you find like the perfect collaboration people, making the right connections for bringing your visions to life. Things like that. Also, for those of you that are in a relationship, when the Lover shows up, it can definitely indicate that that relationship is moving to the next level in some way. It can also indicate that there's a lot of positive circumstances coming out of that. The fact that we also have Queen of Swords here, I do think that there's going to be some sort of like promises between you and what these connections are. There's going to be certain promises, there's going to be certain conversations that end up being really significant. And when I say promises, I mean things like, let's say this is a business partnership. This would be like signing a contract together, being like, okay, we're working together to this outcome. Here's what we're doing, et cetera, things like that. It can also be about even people approaching you being like, oh, hey, do you want to take on this opportunity? We have this offer for you. So it can bring in different offers like that, and just interesting new opportunities that will be coming up. If this is in regards to a partnership relationship, then I'm seeing like really good communication between you both, talking about the future more, talking about what it is that you want, making plans, because this is definitely like a very planning energy as well. So that looks like the energies of the overall 2025 year. We're also going to be going into what you can expect through each quarter of the year. So we're going to take these cards right here, and we're going to get a card that represents the energies of what you can expect through each quarter. So let's see, my group ones. What can we expect for you in the first quarter of 2025? Let's see. Okay, we have two cards coming out for you. So the first quarter, okay, so we have the Devil and then the Emperor being reversed. So before you feel like this is like, you know, the Devil can sometimes be like, ooh, but it's actually one of my favorite cards because it talks about recognizing and starting to see what our limitations used to be, especially next to the Emperor being reversed. One of the main things for you going into the first quarter of this year is realizing what habits have unconsciously been there that cause you to not reach your full potential. This is gonna be huge. And a lot of us actually think about these things as we go into a new year, right? And this is gonna be huge for you because this year you're gonna be able to recognize these things. So you might notice as you go into the first quarter, there might be certain intentions that you have. There might be certain goals that you've set for yourself. And perhaps you're gonna be realizing that old patterns try to creep back up. You might realize like, oh, I have this tendency to limit myself, or I have this tendency to doubt myself, or I have this tendency to just fall back into my previous patterns where I'm not reaching my full potential and I'm no longer making progress on the intentions that I set out. So this is going to be a massive realization for you within the first quarter of the year, within the first 3 months. And I feel like you're going to be addressing this to break yourself free of these chains so that you can step into your greatness, so that you can step into actually accomplishing what you set out to accomplish. This is a huge year of abundance for you. So this is going to be one of the most major kind of realizations and one of the most major things that you're becoming aware of. And it's really important during this time to be really conscious of this. You know, if you notice this popping up in your life, if you notice that, oh, I tend to just fall back on some of my old patterns, some of my old habits. And if you really want change this year, if you really want to welcome in like new energy and be different and get a different outcome where you're really reaching like some big abundant goals, really striving for more, this is all where it begins, right? So the first quarter for you, I feel like, is you kind of, teeter-tottering a little bit between like some of those old habits versus pushing yourself to strive for the new ones. And sometimes it's hard to create new habits. Sometimes it's one of the hardest things to do is to step into a new version of ourselves and make it permanent. That's sometimes one of the most difficult things to do. But I see that through the first quarter of this year, you're going to be really working through those energies. And this is going to be your opportunity to create massive change, to step into a new self. Because the Emperor, the fact that the Emperor even shows up, shows that you have that potential within you. And it shows that perhaps the goals or intentions that you're going to enter the year with have the potential to allow you to step into your inner Emperor, which is your inner leader, your inner version of yourself that is so successful, that achieves anything that they set out to achieve, right? The fact that the Emperor is even here shows that you have this potential, but it's about really tapping into it by becoming really aware of the limitations or the old habits and patterns, or even the toxic things that we might fall into, because the devil is also toxic habits. And Temperance is the card of moderation and letting go of those things that no longer serve you. So let's see what else we get here. What is your second quarter of the year going to be themed around? We have the Death card being reversed. So the second quarter is you making the transformation that you desire. So when the Death card is reversed, we're like really in the thick of the transformation. You can look at the Death card as the caterpillar going into a cocoon and becoming a butterfly. When the Death card's reversed, it's like we're in the cocoon stage. So we haven't fully metamorphosized into the butterfly quite yet, but we're in the cocoon. So the second quarter of the year is you really doing a lot of preparations and you also doing a lot of inner work to shift and change so that you don't fall back into old things, old habits, old patterns that have held you back before. And I feel like these old patterns and habits, these cup cards being reversed, these are like old patterns of pushing yourself too much, running on empty, not filling your cup, not focusing on your rejuvenation, maybe pushing yourself because the devil might tell us these limiting beliefs that, oh, if you take time to rejuvenate, then you're going to get behind on these things and they're not going to get done. And how dare you focus on rejuvenation because, you have all these responsibilities. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, again, do you want to be that car that's like putting along and can barely even like move because it's running so deeply on empty? Or do we want to take the time to fill our cup, fill a car with gas, and then just zoom right along with ease. And we make way more progress. So the Devil card is the aspect of ourself that lives off of fear. It's the aspect of ourselves that lives off of limitation and speaks to us in terms of fear and limitation. So it's all those things like, oh, if you take time for yourself, you're gonna get behind. But the thing is like, no, actually the opposite is true. If you take time for yourself and you fill up your cup and you start, really focusing on fulfillment, you're gonna get way further ahead. You're gonna get way further ahead. So the second quarter for you is, again, you're gonna be in that transition phase of really transitioning out of the old version of you, out of those old habits. And the second quarter for you is about making that big metamorphosis. I really think that you're gonna be birthing a whole new version of you. And the second quarter is about you really defining who that new version of you is. Perhaps you're already defining it now going into this year, but I feel like there's going to be so much more definition and clarity on exactly who that is during the second quarter. And there's going to be a lot of changes that you're implementing and creating during the second quarter. Like, I really see you getting your life together in such a good way. It's like you're really doing all of that inner work. And I also feel this inner sense of proudness that's going to really come through in the second quarter. It's this inner sense of like, oh, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so happy I'm doing this. And one thing I'm going to say, okay, we just got our next card that's going to reveal the third quarter of the year. But every card that we've got so far for the chapters of your year have been major arcana cards. And every time that we get a lot of major arcana cards coming up, they indicate that this is like a major phase or a major time of your life. So 2025 is about to be a major year for you. And the fact that we have the Magician coming up to represent the third quarter of the year for you is wild. This is one of my favorite cards in the deck because it talks about you stepping into your inner magic. And this is like the perfect sequence that we could have going from the first quarter, the second quarter, into the third quarter. So the third quarter for you is actually awakening your inner magic, realizing that, oh, because of the changes that I made over here, I'm now able to step into my fullest potential. Look at her with her magic all surrounded her. All of a sudden she realizes, oh, I have everything I need at my fingertips. I can make anything happen. And this is also the realization, because I think you're going to go through such a deep change, and it might be a change that maybe you've struggled with making in the past, but this time it's actually happening. And I think that you're going to look at yourself and realize like, oh, I have more potential than I thought. I have more inner magic than I thought. I'm like literally the creator of my universe. And the Magician reawakens us to the realization that we are the divine architect, the divine creator of our reality. That's what the Magician reminds us of. So the third quarter of the year for you is you stepping into more of that, realizing your divine inner power. And at the same time, the Magician also represents like the ultimate manifesting ability. So another thing that you're going to notice in the third quarter is that things really start to manifest for you. The things that you set out to achieve, maybe in the beginning of the year, maybe certain intentions that you've had for a while now, you're going to notice in the third quarter, those things actually start birthing to life. You're going to see the progress on those things. And I feel like it's also going to be, in general, just like a magical time of you feeling more in your power than ever. And I actually don't even have words to fully describe the energy that I feel from this card, by the way. It is so positive and full of this, like, I just want to say like unlimited potential. And it's you awakening more of that unlimited potential within you. So we're going to get to the fourth quarter, but I'm going to restart my camera really quick just so that it doesn't cut out on us. Okay, so the fourth quarter of the year for you, let's see how things begin transpiring even more. We have, of course, another major arcana card. How can I even be surprised at this point? So 2025, let me just tell you, group ones, 2025 is a very major year for you. The fourth quarter is the Chariot, which indicates that there is so much progress that you are going to have so much momentum by the end of the year. It sort of seems like the beginning of the year you might be really kind of doing all those things to really make the transformation that you are wanting, to cut out the old habits, to cut out the old patterns, the old limitations, even limiting beliefs that you had on yourself, because the devil with the Emperor reversed is also like, it could be you questioning, am I even worthy of what I desire? Am I even capable of what I desire? Am I just wishful thinking? Like, the devil limits us in so many ways. So what it represents is that, going into this year, for the past few years, you might have had these limiting thoughts that really stopped you from stepping into a higher potential. You might have had these different fears or other constraints. Like, the devil too makes us feel oppressed and makes us feel like there are circumstances outside of our control that are stopping us from stepping into our greatest self. So if you have any of those current beliefs, or if you feel like you currently have those constraints in your life, the first quarter of the year is about realizing that nothing can actually stop you from what it is that you want. And also realizing that you can unlock your potential by setting and creating new beliefs. That's what these all reveal to us, okay? And you're realizing that all of those limitations is what took your power away. That's why the Emperor was reversed. Then the Death card being reversed is like, you know what? I actually need to break free of that. So instead of me being the caterpillar, realize that maybe the devil was constantly telling you like, oh, you're a caterpillar, you can never fly, you can never do this, you can never do that. But then it's you realizing, oh wait, I actually do have all of that potential within me. I just need to go within and start unlocking it. So that's why you're gonna go in that cocoon stage, right? Because it's like you're finally waking up to the fact that, oh yeah, I am a caterpillar, but guess what? Caterpillars have the potential to become butterflies. They have that within. So let me go do that now. This is your year of expanding yourself into what has always existed within you, but it's finally like you're awakening what has always existed within you. You're awakening your unlimited potential. And then the Chariot being over here, it's finally like, oh wow, I can make all of this momentum. I'm no longer stuck, because the devil kept us stuck. And then by the end of the year, it's like you're moving so quickly towards, these bigger things. I wouldn't be surprised if the end of the year is when all of this freedom gets unlocked. You're really calling in a lot of this abundance. In fact, that's going to start at least halfway through the year, at least, because all of these cards sequentially that we have after the first quarter are really like unlocking a lot of your potential. And even some of these things can start manifesting in the first quarter as you start really realizing and releasing whatever has been blocking you or stopping you in the past. But yeah, the Chariot is like so much progress. The Chariot also represents breakthroughs. Okay, so there's going to be huge breakthroughs, a lot of momentum, and like doing a quantum leap. And also, the two horses represent the two different aspects of our mind, the two different hemispheres of the brain. They also represent the ego versus the soul, and the unlimited plus the limited aspects of ourselves. So the Chariot, it gets driven by whichever horse we feed the most, right? So if we're feeding the horse that speaks about limitation and is always like, oh, you can never be good enough, you're not good enough, you're not worthy of that, why even bother, let's just, stay small, etc., etc. If we're feeding that horse, that's the one that's going to be driving the Chariot more predominantly. That's going to be the reality that we experience, versus when we feed the other horse, the one that's like, you know what, I have what it takes. I do have what it takes, and I am worthy, and I'm going to go for that, and I'm going to unlock my unlimited potential, etc., etc. When we start feeding those thoughts, we start feeding that mindset. That's going to be the horse that's most predominantly driving the Chariot, which is the momentum of our life. And when that momentum of our life starts guiding us more predominantly, that's what we're going to experience. So by the end of the year, you're really shifting what is your inner drive, your inner driving force. There's going to be so much like shifts and changes that are happening beneath the surface that are going to just unlock so much of your innate potential that has always been wanting to come out. So with that being said, let's dive into a little bit more about this year for you. Let's see. We also have imagination coming through. So I also think that you are going to unlock more of what you believe is possible, which is going to help open you up to new ideas and new things that you've never even considered before. So in any area of life where you felt stuck, or if you felt uninspired by life, like King of Cups and Ace of Cups reversed, if you've gone through periods of being like uninspired and not knowing what to do next, this is a year where you're going to unlock a lot more of your imagination through the things that you are realizing, through the transformations that you are making. And by doing so, new ideas are going to like really come to you, things that you haven't even considered before, which is going to unlock a lot more creativity for you. And let's see what else we get here. We also have true love come to me. Woo! I'm just like knocking over candles over here. So, true love come to me. For those of you that are calling in love, and the fact that we have the Lovers coming up and then this one, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you who are really wanting to attract love, you attract it this year. True love come to me occasionally can also represent, in the case of the Lovers and the fact that we have the 11th house coming up, that you are just manifesting all the right connections this year that you have wanted to. But I'm feeling for you that as well, like love is definitely a thing in the cards. If you're already in a relationship, I would not be surprised if that relationship just goes to the next level this year. Whatever that next level is for you, depending on where you're at in that relationship. But there's definitely like a next level connection, a deepening of that connection happening. Then we also have courage. I think that you're gonna have the energy this year to break old obstacles, to break old limitations, to have the courage to face old fears that used to stop you. And this year you're kind of going to be like, you know what? I've had enough of this. I'm breaking through this. Like, I want to see what's on the other side. This is going to be a year of courage. And we also have the card of abundance coming through, which makes so much sense because we had Jupiter coming out for you as well. This is going to be quite an abundant year. So calling in like an increase in money and attracting new opportunities that bring you more abundance and financial wealth and success. Abundance is also when we feel like we're surrounded by just a lot more. And when we think about it too, it's like an abundance of energy, whereas before maybe it's like we felt drained, we felt depleted. This is a year where you're calling in just feeling more abundant in all aspects besides just wealth, but also within your own vitality and energy. So, with that being said, we're also going to get an archetype card to show how your inner archetype is changing and shifting, the archetype that you are stepping out of versus the archetype that you are moving into. And we have the Martyr. The light attribute of the Martyr is learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Oh, I have so much to say about this. The shadow attribute, addiction to self-pity. So the Martyr archetype sacrifices their own wants and needs because they believe that their wants and needs are not as important as other people's wants and needs. And so they prioritize other people at the detriment of themselves. And they see this as them being good. However, I think you're realizing this year that life needs to be lived for you and you need to liberate your desires. That is a huge thing coming up for you this year, is that you need to liberate yourself to be able to create and pursue the life that you want. These are the chains that you are unhooking. These chains of like, let me try to be a good person. Let me do everything I can to be perceived by others as a good person. That's the Martyr. Let me do everything I can so that other people perceive me as good. Let me do everything in my willpower to sacrifice myself for the good of others, so that other people are happy, so that I am perceived as a good person. But the thing is like, who are you living for? That's a great question to ask yourself. Who are you living for? Are you living for other people? Were you put on this planet to make other people happy. No, you're put on this planet for your own personal experience. What do you want to create? And of course, it's beautiful to do things, like it makes us feel good to do things for other people. So I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. However, when we do it to the detriment of ourselves, we're actually not doing anything good. Would you want somebody to sacrifice all of their wants and needs to live an unhappy, unfulfilled life just to fulfill you? Would that actually fulfill you? Or would you feel really bad for that person? Would you be like, no, oh my God, go find your own fulfillment and let me find somebody who we're on the same page about what fulfills us so that we don't need to sacrifice our life. We don't need to sacrifice our happiness. We don't need to sacrifice our fulfillment for each other. Instead, let's live life for us. So learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself. There's a transcendent nature when you start to serve yourself or a higher cause, which is a higher calling, but not at the detriment of your fulfillment, okay? There's a difference. So for example, for me, I love making these YouTube videos, and this is like a service that I have for other people. This is what I do for other people, but it also fulfills me. I'm happy doing it, right? Rather than like, imagine I go work, I don't know, some other job. Let's say I start working in tech, but let's say I really hate it there. I don't like it, but yet I'm still serving people because of, what I'm creating and doing, but I hate it. Then it's like, well, am I really actually doing anything good? Am I actually doing anything good at this point? Because somebody who's passionate about the position, somebody who's passionate about what they're sacrificing and what they're doing, somebody who's actually doing it because they're like, I love doing this, I literally love doing this. Like they're gonna do a way better job at the thing. They're gonna be a way better provider and doer of all those tasks, right? Like imagine somebody sitting here making tarot videos and let's say they weren't passionate about it and it drained them and all that. Like the reading would not come out that great, would it? Like, why would we even watch that person? So anyway, you need to start living more passionately for you, regardless of who that disappoints, because at the end of the day, this is how you figure out who's in alignment with you and who is not. So instead of sacrificing your inner callings, instead of sacrificing who you are, your fulfillment, your path, your callings, all the things, realize that that's not a worthy sacrifice. This is your shift this year. This is your shift. And by the way, the martyr archetype is connected to the sacral chakra, which is the chakra of relationships. And when it is out of balance because we're acting as the martyr, it can cause energy imbalances within the sacral chakra. And it can cause like carb addictions. It can cause like other imbalances that are anywhere in our lower abdomen and lower. So just by the way, when you start fixing that energetic quality, you also balance the sacral chakra. So, and in balancing it, it's stepping into your emperor or empress archetype, being the leader of your life. And the emperor or empress does not sacrifice their own wants and needs and fulfillment for others. They do provide, for others, but they do so in ways that are in integrity of who they are, if that makes sense. There's a difference. There's a total difference. So, getting into the next deck of cards here, let's see what else we get for your 2025 year. Okay, that one wants to come out strength, finding your inner strength to be yourself, to say no to the things that you need to say no to, especially Queen of Swords there. I think you're going to get a lot less caught up on people pleasing, and you're going to step into your inner strength. Then we also have the outlaw. You're giving the boot to things that no longer serve you. You're really going to be giving the boot to things that no longer serve you. I almost feel like you've said yes to things or sacrificed things in the past that you're looking back on. You're like, I wish I didn't say yes to that, or I wish I didn't do that. You're outlawing the old you, outlawing old beliefs, outlawing old things that truly do not serve you in your life, which is going to liberate you. It is going to help you be free. I also see this as you kicking to the curb just things in your life that you no longer resonate with. Things in your life that have held you back, and this is going to allow you more freedom. This is going to allow you to liberate in so many different ways. Like, look at how liberated this person is being as they've let go and they transcended their old way of being. The martyr as well is the addiction to self-pity. So it's the addiction to like, oh, like woe is me, and look at what a good person I am, and look at all the bad things that always happen to me. But the thing is what the martyr doesn't realize is that the negative things that happen to them are things that they've also allowed to happen to them because they've sacrificed themselves in the process of pleasing others. They sacrifice themselves in the process of something else. And so they get addicted to self-pity. It's like, well, look at how good I am. Why do all these bad things happen to me? But it's like the realization of, take control of your life again, and then these things are not going to happen to you. Stop doing things at the sacrifice of yourself. It's okay to be a little bit selfish. Like, there's a balance, right? There's a balance. Okay. When we're too selfish, that's also no good. But when we are the right amount of selfish, where we're still living life in integrity to who we are, and we honor our wants and needs rather than feeling bad about having wants and needs, and rather than instead fulfilling everyone else's wants and needs, thinking that, oh, other people can have wants and needs, but I can't. No. This is time to start allowing yourself to be you. This is time to start allowing yourself to be a little bit more selfish, because it's do things that are in integrity of who you are. And I guess selfish is the wrong word, because selfish is usually when we have taken things too far. But what I mean is being self-honoring. That's the right word. So not being selfish, but being self-honoring. Honoring yourself. Doing things for you so that you can live a fulfilling, happy life. That is literally going to be the thing that shifts you so much. And I feel like that's the main thing that is just absolutely changing things around for you and changing around all of your life this year, is the fact that you're stepping out of the martyr archetype and into being of service to yourself. Honoring your uniqueness. It is okay to have wants and needs. And it is okay to chase after them and honor them and speak about them, right? Just like you allow others to do so. It's okay to speak about them. Maybe there's even a judgment when it comes to like, oh, when other people are pursuing their wants and needs, it's so selfish of them. No, like this is, your life is meant to be lived for you. You're not meant to be here to make other people happy. Imagine if everyone on this earth started pursuing their own happiness and everyone just took responsibility for their own happiness. Imagine how much our world would change. Rather than constantly being like, oh, you have to live for me to make me happy. Like, no one's happy that way. Nobody's happy. If we're relying on other people to make us happy, nobody ends up happy in the end. Versus when everyone's responsible for their own happiness and just pursues legitimately what makes them happy, regardless of what other people think about the thing, because it doesn't matter what anybody thinks about it at the end of the day. If it makes you happy, it makes you happy. And like, yeah, I'm going on a tangent. I'm going on a tangent here, but like, yeah, anyway, you get the point. First card that we have for you here for your last oracle cards. What are you grateful for today? Gratitude is such a powerful practice. So what are you grateful for today? If you can carry this practice with you through 2025, watch how it changes your life when you can practice gratitude every day for something. You will be surprised at how much goodness you start to see in the world. You'll be surprised at how much it changes your mindset and perspective. Then we also have destruction is the way to transformation. I love this card because we do have to destroy the old in order to become the new, just like the cocoon, the caterpillar going into the cocoon, then it has to destroy the cocoon in order to hatch as the butterfly. We have to destroy the old limitation. Destruction is the way to transformation. What do you need to destruct in your life? What have you previously constructed that's no longer working for you? And what are ways you can deconstruct and destruct that? Then we have, That one flipped out of my hand. We have one time, this will hurt less and less, or over time, this will hurt less and less. So there could be different transformations that you're making this year where you're like, oh, that's like, it's hard for me to do that transformation. It's hard for me to step into that new me. But over time, it's gonna hurt less and less. Saying no is gonna hurt less and less because you're gonna get used to it, because you're gonna start honoring yourself, right? And the other things that you are stepping into, other aspects, over time, it's gonna start feeling normal. Even stepping into new habits. New habits are sometimes hard, and it's painful to go through the process of breaking down the old and recreating a new self. But over time, it's gonna feel more natural. Over time, it's gonna become who you are. And this is how you liberate. This is how you step into a new version of you. And I feel like the inner self that you are, you want to step into a new version of you. You're wanting to honor yourself more, and this is your year of doing it. So over time, just realize it's gonna become more natural, and it's going to become like your new way of being. So let's see any last cards for you to end us off here for your year of 2025. Oh, I love that this is your Jupiter reminder. This is so Jupiterian energy. Don't come from a place of lack. Come from a place of expansion. That is the major shift that you are making this year, is rather than coming from a place of lack, rather than coming from a place of like, oh, I can't, or I don't have enough time, or I can't take time to rejuvenate myself, da 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 da. You are creating a life of lack when you do that. But when you can come from a place of expansion, such as, ooh, if I take time to rejuvenate right now, I'm gonna have so much more energy by the end of the day or in the next hour, so that I can be productive and I can honor myself and things are just gonna flow more smoothly, et cetera, et cetera. When you come from a place of expansion, you create a life of expansion. So don't come from a place of lack, come from a place of expansion. Even when you look at your finances, let's say you're looking at your money and you're like, oh, look at how much I lack. No, 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 no. I don't even care if you have only $2 in your bank account. Come from a place of expansion and be like, you know what? Can use that $2 to create it into $3. I'm gonna come from a place of expansion, because that is going to change around everything. Your thoughts, the way that you enter into something, the way that you enter into an idea, the way you enter into anything, determines the way that your mind operates, the answers that it looks for. When you're coming from a place of lack, then the brain is like, oh, look at all the lack. It's not thinking of abundant ideas, it's not thinking about ways to expand, but when you come from the place of expansion, you're gonna open yourself up to more expansion. You're gonna open yourself up to more opportunities. And that's the difference that you're making this year. That is the flip-flop that you're doing. You're coming from the old self and you're transforming into an entirely new self this year. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you are into like self-transformation this year. Maybe you're into it already right now, and that's like something that you're already diving into and feeling and exploring. So it's going to be such a positive thing for you, because it's going to create all of these transformations through the next year. So that is what we have for you, my beautiful group number ones. Thank you so much. I don't know what I was gonna say, but thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you all so much love. And if you are curious to watch your love or career prediction for 2025, we also have those videos coming out, and depending on when you're watching this, those might already be out, so definitely subscribe and stick around for that. And if you want any beautiful crystal jewelry or crystals, I'll have my jewelry and crystal shop linked down below so that you can check those out and get your hands on the highest quality crystal jewelry of all time. And that helps create energetic transformations and all of that. So I'm sending you so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group number 2s, if you chose this pile, this is gonna be your reading, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. So starting off with the Astro Dice, let's see what we have happening for you. So we have the North Node in Cancer in the 10th house. The North Node is your destiny, your higher purpose, what we're striving towards. It indicates a lot of momentum towards the future, indicates stepping into a new future, really creating and aligning to a higher future and aligning to your purpose as well. The North Node is highly about aligning to your purpose. And the 10th house is the house of success It's the house of career. It's the house of your bigger goals and aspirations, the things that you are striving to achieve. So the North Node over here, for those of you that are still trying to find what your purpose is, this is your year where you are 100% finding it. Being in the zodiac sign of Cancer, this is like, it's going to be an intuitive calling. It's going to be like a flow where you're also, because Cancer is like the crab, and I just got a vision from my guide saying that you're kind of like a crab that might have been in a burrow, right, in the sand, and perhaps you've had certain callings, but maybe you felt timid to fully pursue them to your fullest extent, to your fullest potential. And I see you coming out and fully pursuing something this year that is actually in alignment with your purpose and your higher calling. Because, like with the Cancer energy, like I feel like you feel what it is. And for those of you that are like, wait, but I don't know what it is, you're going to be getting that intuitive calling this year, and it's going to be like undeniable. And I see you fully just opening up to pursue it. For those of you that maybe already are in an established career or something like this, you're going to have a calling to develop it further. You're going to have a calling to step out further into it. And I know I'm kind of aligning this to career, but this could be like any certain goals or aspirations that you have that, you know, maybe you haven't realized what they are yet, or maybe you just haven't pursued them quite yet to their fullest extent. This year is absolutely a year where you are pursuing goals and aspirations and higher callings to a much fuller extent. You're going to see so much more progress. And whenever the North Node is in the 10th house, we're really striving onwards and upwards and discovering more of like who we are and fulfilling a higher calling or higher purpose. So that's coming through very intensely for your year of 2025. That's like a major theme for you through this next year. And yeah, that's going to be kind of some of the main biggest energies of the year. But these next card, or the next card that we're going to get, is going to represent more about the overall themes and energies of the year that you can expect. So let's see what card that ends up being for you about the overall energies and themes. Ooh, okay. Group 2s, we have the Magician coming out for you. The Magician is one of my favorite cards because it indicates that you are stepping more into your manifesting abilities this year. And even if you don't know anything about manifestation, regardless, you're stepping into being more of the master creator, master architect of your life. The Magician is the one that takes a thought and fully brings it into physical reality, which makes total sense because the 10th house as well, by the way, is a very material house. So there could be something that you're pursuing this year, like an idea, and you are creating the material manifestation of it. So if any of you have an idea where you're like, oh, I would love to physically make that happen, to physically experience that, to pursue that and live that out, to create that thing. If there's something you're even called to create, the Magician, you're absolutely doing that this year. And you are stepping into that higher inner magic of making it happen. So there's going to be tons of progress in regards to that and stepping into just your higher abilities. So those are the overall major themes, but we're going to use our these tarot cards right here to get more information about your year, more specifically, like the ins and outs, the in-betweens, and all of that. So let's see what we get for you, my group 2s, for your year of 2025. So we have Judgment being reversed. So one of the themes that's actually going to be leading you to pursuing all of this is letting go of self-judgment and letting go of the fear of judgment, the fear of failure. Even sometimes we have a fear of success. There might have been old judgments that held you back previously from doing this. This could have even been judgments that stood in the way of you even seeing what your purpose was, or seeing what that calling was, or just simply honoring a calling if you have felt one. The Judgment card being reversed is you liberating yourself from the fear of judgment, from the fear of criticism, from overly even criticizing yourself. So even if some of you might have like an inner critic that tends to be really powerful and really predominant, and judgment being reversed is when we start to look at, oh, is that actually serving me in any way? Is that actually helping me? And a lot of the times we think that our inner critic is helping us, and we think that we do need to be that harsh in order to keep ourselves in check. But the thing is, what we don't realize is that when our inner critic is too harsh, it actually diminishes our power. It actually puts more stress and anxiety on us, which does not serve us. Whenever we have more stress and anxiety, we actually are more prone to making mistakes because we're so clouded with stress and anxiety and overthinking that we're actually more prone to creating negativity or creating negative circumstances and being overly judgmental about them. And I see that you're going to be letting up on yourself, being more easy on yourself, letting go of those previous judgments, which is going to, again, liberate you so much and be able to spread your wings more. And judgment, by the way, another aspect of this card, besides actually being about criticism and judgment and things like that, another aspect of it is answering a higher calling. Because when you look at this card, even if you look at the original depiction, it's like an angel with a trumpet and people reaching up. This card, we still have the angel wings and we have like the hands reaching up, but it can indicate a higher calling. When it is reversed, maybe we were ignoring that calling, maybe we weren't aware or seeing that calling. But this year, 2025, is about revealing what that is and being able to pursue it. And I really see you like a crab coming out of the sand and being like, you know what? I'm going to pursue something bigger. I'm no longer staying in my hole. I'm no longer staying buried in the sand. And I'm no longer going to bury this feeling that I have within me of what I want to create and what I want to pursue, because those feelings have been there for a reason. And oh my gosh, look at the card that came out. There's literally a crab on the card that came out. Page of Cups. Page of Cups is when we have an emotional calling, which is exactly what I was saying, that we are ready to pursue. And it might be something that is out of the ordinary of what we would normally pursue. It's like a new idea, a new calling. This is going to come in this year. Page of Cups is also, the pages are messengers. So you've had an emotional message that's been calling you, or at least if you haven't felt it yet, it's going to be coming within 2025 and you are going to be pursuing it. And it might even feel out of the blue for you, but it's going to help you expand a lot. And it's going to help unlock more of your creativity, because the Page of Cups as well is very creative. And this is you stepping into allowing yourself to be more creative, allowing yourself to be more expressive, and your personality is going to be coming out more. Another thing that I have to say about this card is that it can talk about your inner personality and the fact that maybe we used to wear a shell around us to protect ourselves emotionally, to protect ourselves from hurt or rejection or criticism or things like that. So we might have even felt like we had to maybe wear a false mask, or that we weren't able to fully be ourselves and let down our guard. Maybe you've had this feeling like, oh, when I meet new people, I have to be in a shell because, you know, there's a fear of judgment, rejection, things like that. So maybe we've felt like that in the past, or perhaps even with something bigger in regards to your bigger calling, maybe you've also felt very in your shell about it. This is a year where your personality is going to be shining more, and you're going to start liberating more of your personality, because the Page of Swords, or Page of Cups, sorry, the Page of Cups, embraces their quirkiness and embraces their uniqueness. And they're also a little bit humorous and just fun, and they open themselves up emotionally. So this year as well is a year where you're going to be opening yourself up more emotionally. This could even be within your love life too, by the way. So for some of you, this could even be opening up more emotionally within your love life, just being open to being more vulnerable, being more you, being more silly. Page of Cups lets their full personality out, and they're much more comfortable being themselves. And I just see you transforming more into this rather than staying in your shell, which is going to be so beautiful for you. It's gonna lead to more creativity, more ideas, and all of that. We also have Queen of Wands being reversed. So in areas where you felt either unmotivated or a lack of energy, or even like, why am I hearing for some of you that perhaps there was like an antisocial nature? For some of you, I don't think that that's all of you. But for some of you, you're actually confronting that this year and becoming much more bubbly. Like even on this Page of Cups, there's like bubbles coming out of this canister. I don't know if you can see that, but there's like bubbles coming out. You're gonna be more bubbly and happy. Whereas Queen of Wands, there was like this criticalness or even this kind of energy where, I want to say it was like unapproachable, but it's like you're becoming more bubbly, more open, more inspired, more revitalized. Like if you felt like you lacked energy, perhaps this was also just like, I lack energy to be social, or I lack energy to go out there and have fun and laugh and create moments of like just being spontaneous, etc., etc. I think that this is going to be something that you're also kind of seeing this year and shifting around. If there was any sort of like negative outlooks that you used to have, or falling into drama, or just feeling like you couldn't be yourself, you couldn't be your fun self, that is shifting, because this year I feel like you're really wanting to be more of a fun, less judgmental, less critical, just more at ease type of person. And when the Queen of Wands is upright, she is at ease, she is spontaneous, she is funny, she loves her humor, she's just the life of the party, and she's in the spotlight. And perhaps you were avoiding the spotlight before. Perhaps you were avoiding your higher callings because it would require you to kind of step outside of your comfort zone. And this is you overcoming that, facing that. So one of the, I guess, challenges of the year is you facing that fear and overcoming it, letting the bubbliness out and realizing that there's nothing to fear because people will love you. And even if they don't, it's okay. I mean, like, we can't get 100% of people to love us, but regardless of who we're being, whether we're being in our shell and hiding or not, there's going to be people that don't like us. So let's just be ourselves. Let's be bubbly, and let's let loose of like caring so much about what other people think. Because at the end of the day, the only person's opinion of yourself that actually matters is your opinion of yourself. And this is time to know yourself so deeply that it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says, because you know yourself deep enough that your opinion, again, is the only one that matters, and you actually know who you are. You know? So then, next card that we have is the High Priestess being reversed. This is also a year of learning how to trust your intuition, because perhaps I'm getting a message that there used to be a discrepancy, or at least like a imbalance in knowing what is your intuition speaking to you versus what is fear. And perhaps we've been getting those mixed up. And that's High Priestess being reversed here, is like, how do we know what our intuition is actually telling us versus what is a fear? What is a personal projection? You're going to be figuring that out this year. And by the way, for any of you that want to know that key, because it's a long explanation, I will have a video linked down below that I recently just did all about intuition and how to unlock your intuition and psychic senses. And I explain very clearly in that video the difference between intuition versus fear and how you can tell the difference, which I think would be very helpful for you, because it seems like that was something in the past that you've questioned. Like, is that my intuition telling me that? Or is that like just fear coming up? Or is that like a personal projection? What is it? So I explained exactly how to figure that out in that video, which I think would be really helpful. But yeah, it just seems like this year you're discovering all the differences between those things, which is going to allow you to liberate. It is going to allow you to step more into your authenticity and all of that. So diving into our next cards, I'm really excited about these ones because these are going to represent each quarter of the year for you. So quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, the energies that you can expect more specifically through each of those quarters. So let's see for you, my group 2s, what we have. So these ones are representing quarter 1. So we have 2 cards coming out for quarter 1 for you. And we have 5 of Pentacles being reversed plus Page of Pentacles upright. Oh, I love that these came up for you. The first quarter of the year for you is realizing that you no longer want to be a victim of life. It's also kind of taking matters into your own hands in terms of areas where you feel lack. And instead of feeling like, oh, the universe is against me, the universe put me here, it's like you're really taking matters into your own hands, being like, I am going to turn this ish around. I no longer am going to be here. I am no longer settling for this. Ooh, that is what came in hard. That is, Spirit just said yes, 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 yes. So there's this energy of I am no longer settling for, you name it. For a lot of you, I feel like this could be in regards to your finances or in regards to your career, and realizing that you no longer want to settle for what has been. Because I think that you're realizing that maybe in the past year, there seemed to be a little bit of struggle, either with being happy in your career or a material struggle in your life, such as wanting to achieve certain goals, but feeling like they're out of reach because of where you're at financially or because of where you're at with other resources in your life. This card can sometimes also talk about health situations too, and feeling like, oh, I can't do something because of this problem, etc., etc. Who are you ever changing that around in the first quarter of the year? The first quarter of the year for you is like, you know what? I'm no longer going to be complaining about it. I am no longer going to settle for this, and I'm no longer going to allow it in my life. I am no longer going to allow that situation to control me, nor am I going to allow it to continue any longer. It's like literally this, I've had enough. We're no longer living that story. Page of Pentacles is grabbing hold of your inner potential and being like, I'm setting out a new intention. I'm setting out a new plan of action, and I'm setting out a new story, a new path for myself. You're going to be implementing that. There's going to be like a whole new thing that you're inspired by. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you who chose this pile, that perhaps you're really inspired to make new intentions this year. Maybe you're really inspired to make new resolutions. And some of those resolutions are going to be really big, and they're going to be, yeah, it's just going to inspire you in a whole new way. And I see you making real progress on that, because when we look at the difference between this, like this sparse tree that isn't really blooming anything for us, then we look at the Page of Pentacles and the fact that she's surrounded by all this new potential growth around her. You're really entering like this new growth period. And I'm hearing that around March of 2025, there's already going to be a beautiful amount of progress that you've already made in manifesting your new ambitions, your new vision. So, yes. There also might be a new opportunity coming in for you, or a new idea that you are personally implementing during the first quarter of the year. And I see you really being dedicated to them, because another thing about the Pentacles is they're so dedicated. It is the element that is all about, dedication, being detail oriented, and really sticking to something. It's so committed, right? And I feel like that's you. This year, there's this very committed energy that you have. So the second quarter of the year, we have Page of Swords. I see that you're going to be evaluating things and making new plans in the second quarter. So the second quarter is all about gaining clarity on where you're going, gaining clarity on the progress that you've made in the first quarter, because I do see you making actually tons of progress where you're like, whoa, if only I started doing this sooner. Like there's almost that energy of like, if only I started doing this sooner, but you're still so proud that you're doing it now. Okay. So don't let that take away from the progress that you are making, because it's so amazing that you're actually, doing this progress. And, you will have made progress within the first quarter that you're going to be quite proud of. Then the second quarter, I see you expanding this plan, reviewing it, revising it so that it can be even greater, because I think you're going to be learning certain things within the first quarter about yourself. You're going to be learning new things about what it is that you're pursuing. And then there's going to be this reevaluation period of like, okay, let's review this and let's see, okay, how can I plan to improve this even more? There could also be new news coming in that is going to help expand you. The Page of Swords can sometimes represent a new idea coming to us that we're then planning. It can also represent a new invitation or opportunity where somebody's telling us some sort of information that also helps us expand in some way. So the second quarter is going to be bringing in all of that. The third quarter, look at this. Okay, then you're going to be implementing even more. Ace of Pentacles. Implementing even more, going for even more, pursuing even more. This is really a year of planting new seeds. Planting new seeds, which makes so much sense because we had the North Node. It's like your real purpose is coming in, or at least the expansion of your current purpose that you're living. And through this expansion, it's like you are planting these new ideas, planting these new seeds. I think that you're going to be doing some sort of revision in the second quarter that's going to allow you to plant an even bigger seed, an even bigger idea that's going to allow you to expand whatever it is that you started off with. Then you're going to be planting something even bigger. And this is also a time where I think you're going to be really investing in yourself, investing in your dreams and goals, saying yes to something. This could also be a new beginning of some kind. So the third quarter might bring in a brand new beginning because you're finding what's more in alignment with you. And then let's see, the last quarter of the year. Sometimes the pentacles can also represent like a big purchase that can be like an investment of some kind. So there could be some sort of investment purchase that you make either in the first quarter or the third quarter of the year. And then the fourth quarter, we also have two cards coming out for your fourth quarter. So we have the Four of Pentacles being reversed. I love that this card came up in the reverse position for you. So this one is when we get out of a lack mentality. We're finally able to let go. The things that you're going to be doing through the first 3 quarters of the year are going to allow you to expand in your abundance and your wealth and your sense of security and your whole foundation to where by the end of the year, you are able to let go of this feeling of lack. You are able to let go of this feeling of scarcity. This could even deal with health for some of you again, because I am feeling like there's some parallels here where it comes to health, some parallels here when it comes to finances, some parallels where it comes to your satisfaction in your life and in your work and in your purpose. There's no longer a feeling of scarcity and lack. There's a feeling of, oh, I can let go of what no longer serves me. Some of you might have the courage to quit a job around this time of year that no longer serves you because you no longer feel like you have to be in it. So some of you might be creating a business on the side this year. Okay, I'm really getting a message for some of you. You might be creating a business on the side or expanding a business that you already have that you've been working towards. And then by the end of the year, it's like you can leave behind a job that was not satisfying for you. Something that maybe you held on for the sense of security that it brought. But now by the end of the year, it's like I no longer need it. I can let go. I can give it away. It's truly no longer really bringing you anything because you've created so much during the beginning of the year. So there's the opportunity to let go of what no longer serves you. This can also be when we come into enough money that we just let go of the feeling of scarcity. We let go of the feeling of lack. We let go of the fear of needing to penny pinch. You know, when we feel like, oh, I need to penny pinch, or oh, I need to like save these last few dimes. I can't spend it on myself. Like the feeling of I'm not abundant. I can't treat myself. All of those feelings. So by the end of the year, you're actually going to feel quite abundant and feel like, oh, I have an excess. So that's going to be coming through. And then we also have the 10 of Swords being reversed. Oh, I love that this one came up in the reverse position as well. Oh, health things are also going to clear up. Excessive worries are going to clear up. The feeling of defeat, because when we look at this card, like look at both of these, like this person, they are penny pinching, they are in lack. This person was defeated. They had fears, they had anxieties, they felt like life was either against them. They even felt like maybe even people were being negative in their life. There's so many different things that the Ten of Swords can represent. It can also represent headaches, backaches, other bodily issues and problems that we might be dealing with. It's like this feeling of, like, when will it stop? When will the pain, the struggle, the resistance stop? It's kind of like that type of question. Both of these are reversed. So by the last quarter of the year, you have really made such progress and such change in your life by following what it is that you really want, by getting out of a victim-based mindset of feeling like the life was against you and that you couldn't do anything about it. It's like you're really taking control this year so deeply. My group twos, you're so deeply taking control this year, so deeply pursuing some new intuitive feelings, callings, opportunities, stepping into your ultimate magician. Maybe some of you are going to be learning about manifesting this year. Maybe that's something that you're like, oh, I really want to grasp and master the art of manifesting. Maybe some of you are going to be really called to that. And I see that being so lucrative and paying off so deeply for you. And yeah, like these two cards, I just love the energy that I'm feeling from these. Like I wish that you could feel exactly what I feel from my guides when I'm doing these readings, because it's so profound and so beautiful. But yeah, like, I mean, my words can't even fully describe like sometimes what I feel, but let's just say that it's very beautiful by the end of the year, you being able to let go of the things that you're like, wow, I no longer need to live a life feeling lack. I no longer need to hold on to something that doesn't fulfill me and takes away my time and makes me feel in this scarcity mindset where I have to penny pinch, where I have to hold on to something that doesn't resonate with me, health things that you might have been struggling with, et cetera, et cetera. It's like by the end of the year, it's like, oh, you're so liberated from all of those things, and it's going to be such a good feeling. Like the feeling of liberation that I get by just reading this is already so good. So yes, before we dive into our next deck of cards here, I'm going to restart my camera really quick just so that it doesn't cut out. Okay, we are back. Let's see. My group twos, your 2025 year. Let's see. Oh, that one flew out there. We have success coming in. This is a year of a lot of abundant success for you. This is a year where I feel like career is taking off. Money is taking off in some ways. This is also a year where certain goals that you've had that you've really wanted to reach are being accomplished. You're coming out of your shell to really pursue things that you've been called to pursue. We also have organization. So a couple different things that I get from this. This could be organizing, getting things together in terms of just like the simple things such as organizing your home better, organizing your schedule better, organizing your resources better so that they're in balance. It can be all that. But another aspect of organization, if you think about an organization itself, it could be something that you're creating career-wise, creating a full-on organization, being part of an organization that you really resonate with, landing the job at the organization that you desire, or starting a career where maybe you're hiring help and creating a full organization of people or a company or something like this. So organization can represent all those different things. So depending on what side of the spectrum you're on, depending on your life path that you currently are feeling into, again, it's a general reading. So I point out all the different options that I see within the cards. But yeah, it definitely looks like there's more organization coming through in terms of like the general organization things, and then also possibly organization such as hiring help, expanding your career, creating your organization, creating your company. So yeah, next we're gonna go into our archetype card. This is gonna be representing the old archetype that you are stepping out of in 2025 and the light attribute that you are going to be stepping into. So we have the trickster coming out, and before you get any weird feelings about this, let's first get into it and explain it, because a lot of the times they're not what they appear on the surface. So the light attribute is transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. The The shadow attribute is manipulating others through duplicity. So one thing that I'm getting for you is the archetype that you are stepping out of is the one where perhaps life seemed to be unpredictable for you, or there was a fear that other circumstances were somehow going to deceive you, or that you couldn't trust your intuition because what if it was wrong, or the fear of being manipulated or tricked by others, and then having that stop you, or the fear that like people aren't being real with you. This fear like, oh, if I ask them for advice, maybe they're just like telling me what I want to hear. This feeling of a lack of trust in yourself, a lack of trust in the universe. Like, it's almost feeling like, yeah, like maybe certain things happened that caused you to lack trust, that caused you to even attract manipulative people in your life. So some of you might have experienced that, or there was at least just a fear of it, right? Maybe from your past. So it could be talking about people that have been in your life lately, or people that have been in your life in the past that caused these fears, such as being manipulated by other people. So that was an archetype that you are now leaving behind. And what you're moving into in 2025 is transcending convention or stuffiness or predictable behavior. So now you're going to be, sorry, I'm like burping and talking at the same time. But anyway, now you're going to be stepping into a version of yourself where you're going to be so much more in tune with your intuition, where nobody's going to be able to deceive you anymore, because you're realizing that you are so much more aware of people and their intentions. So this is going to help you become more discerning in your life. You're also going to be transcending just like other things that kept you bland, other things that kept you stuck. Even your mind can sometimes play tricks on you, right? But I feel like you're learning how to decipher and discern between intuition versus fear, right? Just like we were talking about earlier. And no longer will fear be able to hold you back or trick you. And no longer will other people be able to manipulate you, because you just become so much more discerning as well. So that's a big archetype transition that is coming up for you within this reading as well. So let's see what else we get for you here for 2025. My group twos. I feel like this card wants to come out, speak truth. I also feel like you are going to be able to step into your truth so much. So rather than feeling like we have to tell people what they want to hear, because that's also not a good thing. And that's also an aspect of like the shadow attribute within our archetype card, is perhaps this feeling of like, oh, I don't know how to tell people the truth. So sometimes I just tell them what I think that they want to hear. Or sometimes I omit things because I don't know how to be honest. I don't know how to be truthful, or et cetera, et cetera. Or like, how can I manipulate the situation where I won't have to tell the truth, but I'll still kind of get the outcome that I want. I think that you're also leaving that behind and stepping more into, how can I just be honest, be truthful, be open, because that's just going to liberate so much energy for you. It's going to liberate so much for you. And then also being able to learn other people's truths, being able to be receptive to when people are hiding something versus when they are being honest. We also have sacred sexuality. This can actually represent quite a few different things. So for one, it can indicate honoring your body more, honoring your emotions, honoring what you actually feel, honoring what you're really passionate about as well. On another level, on a more direct level, it can indicate being more sacred when it comes to sexuality and honoring what your body actually feels, being more sacred with that practice. So are we just giving that away willy-nilly? And maybe we need to honor our body's temple more. This could be a realization coming through. Or it could even be things such as like opening up and being more in tune with your body and balancing all of that energy so much more this year, balancing that energy, being much more intentional with how we use that energy, when we give that energy to another person, when we share that energy with another person. So there could also be things coming up here where We are healing certain aspects of ourself regarding all of this and getting more into balance with that. The horse here is also a representation of freedom, but also freedom to speak your truth. Also freedom to say no. Freedom to, yeah, all of those things. Just to be more in balance with that. To be more, yeah, in tune with your body and what your body needs and wants. But on a non-sexual level, this card also does talk about your inner passions, honoring your inner body, your inner temple, all of that. So it represents that as well. So getting into your last cards here, let's see my group number 2's, any last messages that Spirit wants to leave you off with for your year of 2025. Let's see. Okay, I feel like these cards want to come out, so we're going to take those. And let's see. We have, where you're going, not all can follow. So when you start really honoring yourself, like, yeah, there might be people that don't understand you. There might be people that fall out of your life, and that's totally normal. So where you're going, not all can follow. And also realize that maybe you're learning about manifestation this year. Maybe you're learning about spiritual concepts. Maybe your interests that you have, whatever they are, maybe other people don't understand it. The things that you're pursuing, other people might not understand. But the thing is, they don't need to understand. Where you're going, not all can follow. So just because other people are questioning you or don't understand you, it doesn't mean that you need to convince them. It doesn't mean you need to get them on board with you, because they're living their own life, right? And your life is up to you, their life is up to them. And you don't need to get everyone on your same page in order for you to live your life, right? Just lead by example. Then next we have, how are you being the best version of yourself? I feel like this year you're really creating the best version of yourself. And I think one important question to ask on a regular basis is, how are you being the best version of yourself? What are the things that are going to motivate you and push you into the best version of yourself? Okay. And then we have, I am exactly where I'm meant to be. You are not behind on anything. You did not make mistakes that were not in your life for some purpose. Like, all mistakes actually lead us to beautiful learning experiences. And I feel like all of them are actually meant to be. So one thing, a message for you from Spirit right now is, you are exactly where you are meant to be. You have not made some sort of mistake in your past that's holding you back, etc., etc. All those had their divine purpose, and all of those served something in your life, and it's time to be thankful for them. You are exactly where you're meant to be, okay? And it's not stopping you from getting where you need to go. You're getting there, okay? So the journey is the process. Enjoy the journey, because the journey is the process of leading you to your ultimate dreams, desires, and goals. There's no movie in existence that is a good movie that takes the main character and then just overnight they manifest what they want and then end of story. We all watch movies for the entertainment of watching the process of the main character going through the process of achieving what they want, going through all the trials, tribulations, and lessons. And that's the beauty of your story, of going through all the different growth and learning of your show, your movie, that you're the star of, that you're the main character of. The journey is the process. So write it beautifully, because realize, we had the magician, you're the master architect of your universe. That's one of your biggest realizations this year. So it's like, how do you want to write your story? What are you going to write it to be? And how can you step up into that main character energy? And who do you want that main character to be? Let's get creative here and, really step into that and really get creative with who that is, because realize that you can step into that. And then the things that you are called to, the things that you are attracted to, the things that inspire you the most are the aspects of yourself that are waiting to be awakened. That's why they inspire you, because they're aspects of you that want to be realized and acted upon. So those are the last messages I will leave you off with. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you all so much love. If you are curious about your love life or your career and finances more specifically for the next year, those videos are going to be coming out very shortly. In fact, they might already be out depending on when you're watching this. So definitely stick around for that and subscribe if you want to be a part of those. And if you are interested in any crystal jewelry or crystals that can help liven up your energy and bring in so many different energetic benefits, I will have my crystal and jewelry shop linked down below for you as well. And thank you so much for joining me here. I'm sending you all so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group threes, if you chose this pile, this is gonna be your reading, so let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so beginning with our astro dice here, let's go ahead and see the main themes and events that are going to be transpiring for you. So we have Mars. Ooh, this is the planet of action and inspiration and motivation and inner power, being in the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. And then we also have this being in the 8th house. The 8th house is the house of shared assets. And for some reason, I'm randomly getting a message that you are wanting to become independent this year. The 8th house is shared assets, our deep passions. It's also a house that rules our deep intuition, wanting to discover more, wanting to uncover truths, wanting to kind of get to the bottom of things. And it's also a house that's very spiritually aligned and can create spiritual activations. But again, it is also a house of shared assets, of money, and the shared resources that we might have with other people in our life. So a couple different things that I'm seeing for you. For one, there could be some sort of investment or some sort of money that you're going to be receiving this year that is going to allow you to take action and expand in new ways. So that's randomly coming through. This could be like more money coming through a bonus through work. This could be someone wanting to help you achieve something, such as like a partner that you live with, right? They might be like, you know what? I want you to pursue your big dream. I'm going to help you out. This could even be a parent that's wanting to help you out to pursue something bigger. But something like this, you are going to gain the help that you need to strive towards and expand into something greater. This could even be a loan from a bank to open up a business and like, you know, all types of things like that. It can show up in a multitude of different ways, but I am seeing some sort of like more money or some sort of help coming into your life this year that's going to allow you to expand further. Mars is the energy of like, ooh, I can take action. I can call on my inner power, my inner strength. And being in Sagittarius, this is the energy of expansion. Even Sagittarius, it's represented by the arrow because it's almost like you then pulling back the arrow being like, oh, I'm going for this, right? It's also the zodiac sign of freedom and momentum and being very clear about what it is that you want, where you're going. It's also your life philosophy. So some of you, there's also going to be a lot of awakenings when it comes to your life philosophy. Deeper spiritual learning, deeper spiritual understanding is going to be coming through. Information, higher learning, just getting to the nitty gritty. So if there's things that maybe you're attracted to learning more about, oh, you're getting to the deep answers this year. You're getting to those deep answers. So if some of you have been on a spiritual journey, seeking more spiritual understanding, wanting to find out more about manifestation, etc., this is going to be coming through this year as well. And yeah, just a ton of action because Mars is the action planet. This is going to be a huge year of action and feeling your inner power, being awakened and getting such a clear vision to expand into more freedom, getting to expand into more and sort of getting the support that you need. Like you can think about the 8th house as like getting the support that you need to really help you move forward. In fact, before we get into these cards, the next card that we're going to get here is going to represent more of the themes and energy of the year of 2025 for you. So let's see what we have. Oh, we have the Strength card coming out. Strength represents stepping into your confidence. It's ruled by Leo, so it's also the strength to follow your heart, to listen to your heart's calling, your inner desires. It's also the strength to overcome any obstacle, any resistance, any sort of limitation that we currently perceive in our life. So 2025 is about you empowering yourself with like, okay, I have what it takes. I'm going to achieve my outcome. I'm going to pursue it, and I have the strength to do so. It's also this feeling of worthiness that's going to be empowering you, stepping into your inner power, which is so much of the Mars energy that we have in our astro dice as well. So the fact that we have strength and Mars showing up for you, this is such a power year of finding your power and finding ways around and through any of the previous obstacles that kept you stuck, any of the previous challenges or resistances or limitations in your life that you have felt stuck by. This is your year of cutting through those, finding your inner power, your inner strength to overcome those. So this is going to be a very powerful year for you, to say the least. And let's see what else we get for you here for your year of 2025. So one of your overall themes is really finding your inner power and realizing like, oh dang, I can kind of do anything, and really realizing that you have the strength and that inner power to do so. We also have the 9 of Wands being reversed here. One thing that I'm seeing is that perhaps in the past, there were situations where you have felt defeated, or maybe situations where you tried to overcome some sort of limitation or obstacle, but then it felt like it didn't work out, or it felt almost too hard, or we even felt like giving up at times, because 9 of Wands being reversed can be this energy where previously we might have felt like giving up. You are combating that energy this year, and things that used to make you want to feel like giving up, you are persevering big time. You are finding that inner strength to continue on. And you are going to be so thankful that you did so, because this is going to be the year of finding your inner power. And again, the Sagittarius energy is propelling you forward so deeply. And you're going to have this ability to come out and kind of find your inner magic again, I want to say. We also have 4 of Pentacles being reversed. And I love that this card came up reversed for you, because this one indicates different areas of our life where we used to feel lack, or we used to feel scarcity, or that we used to feel like a lack of stability, a lack of reliability. So in any area of your life where it felt like there was instability, this could be financially, within your home life, within your material world, within your career or job, or even within your relationships. If there was like a lack of certainty or this feeling of instability, this is also going to be something that you are addressing this year and having the strength to overcome, having the strength to fix. There could also be something in your life that you're realizing like, I don't want to stay on that unstable foundation anymore. This could be in a relationship for some of you, or within some other sort of shared asset or partnership, career, etc. There's something that wasn't reliable for you, and you're like, I don't want to stay in that unreliable energy, and I'm going to have the strength to either remove myself from that situation because I no longer want to just live in that, I no longer want to be in that, or you are having the strength to change that circumstance if it's within your control. I want to make that clear, if it's within your control, such as if this is like your choice of like where you work and how much money that you are making because of where you're choosing to work. This could be you being like, okay, I'm going to change that around because I no longer want to be in an unstable situation. Or if this deals with a relationship that constantly gave you this feeling of insecurity, of instability, this could be you having the strength to finally leave that behind because maybe it's truly not bringing you what you want and you no longer want to be in that pattern anymore. But all the things that were kind of giving this feeling of instability, you are having the strength to fully overcome them and pursue what it is that is going to bring you more inner power rather than take your power away, because all those areas of your life where you felt unstable, you're kind of like, that was taking away my power and that did not feel good. Therefore, you are having the strength to make boundaries, to cut away those things, to sever those ties, okay? Also, Mars being in the 8th house here with Sagittarius, you're having the strength to sever ties to people or things that you no longer want to share your life with, that you no longer want to, you know, have to support, etc. All of that. We also have the 5 of Cups showing up being reversed. So I also love this card in the reverse position, because the 5 of Cups can be where we're feeling down about what hasn't worked out for us, or the things that perhaps we were constantly giving our energy to, these things that kept disappointing us. Like, that's the 5 of Cups energy, when we're almost staying stuck on things that constantly let us down, that constantly disappoint us. Or we're staying stuck on the past, feeling like we can't move forward, and we're constantly thinking about, oh, I don't want to move forward because I don't want to be disappointed again. I don't want to be let down again. Therefore, let me just like stay sulking, right? It's this feeling of not moving forward. However, when this card is reversed, it is when we have the courage to leave behind the thing that's constantly disappointing us, the thing that's constantly bringing down our energy. We have the courage to turn it around and pursue something else, to go on a different path, to leave it behind, to literally leave behind the disappointments. The courage to turn your life around, because realize that you're in control of your life. This is your year of finding your inner strength to sever the things and sever yourself from the things that maybe we were emotionally attached to. But again, it was constantly letting us down, keeping us in a feeling of scarcity and lack, keeping us in this feeling of instability and non-reliability. Then we also have 2 of Pentacles as your next card. You are going to be finding balance this year. You're finding yourself on your 2 feet again, especially through the different changes that you're going to be making this year, the different changes that are that you're being called to create. You're going to be finding so much more stability. And I also see you being so much more balanced with yourself emotionally, being balanced with yourself materially. Because if you felt insecure about something materially in your life, such as your finances, because the 4 of Pentacles being reversed can indicate that previously, in the previous years, we felt a lack of stability there. 2 of Pentacles is all of a sudden we're juggling things and we have things under control. We have the, income to meet our expenses, and those are in balance. Those are good. We're feeling like we are juggling those things in a way that's satisfying to us, in a way that feels good for us, in a way that feels in balance, okay? So you're gonna be finding balance with that. You're also finding balance with your own stability and foundation in your life, balance within career versus life as well, like a career-life balance where we don't feel like one of them is eating into the other or taking away from the other. So work-life balance, balance within your own mentality as well, balance within your resources, balance within your energy, balance within your commitments and your responsibilities is coming through. So much more balance, so much more strength, so much more positivity this year. And let's go ahead and see in this next deck. This one is going to be showing us each quarter of the year. So we're going to have a card that's going to represent the first quarter of the year and the energies to expect in the second quarter of the year, third quarter of the year, and so on. So let's see the energies that you can expect through the first quarter of 2025, the 4 of Wands. Already, this is a card of setting a much stronger foundation, a much more reliable foundation. There's also some form of celebration. So when 4 of Wands shows up, this is usually some kind of celebration where people are really proud of us. There could be some type of achievement, some sort of milestone coming up, something that you are celebrating where you're like, oh, I'm so excited to celebrate that, or I'm so excited for this new thing. And it's also where we're setting a more solid foundation. So I feel like you're entering this year, my group 3s, with already these intentions of, I no longer want to have the instability. I'm having the strength to change things around, to create more solidity, to create more balance with my resources, time, and my energy. And already you're entering this year feeling more balanced. This could also be something coming in, like some sort of celebration for whatever it was that we were talking about in the beginning, such as like some sort of support coming in. This support might be showing up in the first 3 months of the year. This support could be financial support. This could be support with just friends emotionally, things like that. But whatever it is that you needed in order to feel more set within your foundation is going to be coming through in the first 3 months of the year, in the first quarter. And again, some form of celebration around that as well. This could be finding a more stable position, things like that. The second quarter of the year, we have the Two of Cups being reversed. This is your time of the year of disconnecting from things that are no longer serving you. It might even be people that are no longer serving you. And you're gonna feel this, right? You're gonna feel this. You're gonna feel like, okay, that was no longer in alignment. That was no longer really working. This could even be the separation from a job, but usually this is something emotional. This is like an emotional kind of separation from something that, again, was just no longer in alignment with you or your path. So the second quarter of the year is going to be kind of addressing those things. This could even be something that starts beginning in the first quarter of the year and then fully kind of transpires within this second quarter. But this is going to be of massive benefit for you because it almost seems like whatever this wasn't in alignment anymore. You no longer felt like it was serving you in a positive way. So it's the courage to leave behind what is no longer serving you. Then the third quarter of the year, we have the Queen of Swords and then the Two of Swords being reversed. Ooh, you are gaining so much clarity on where you want to go in life. And there's also going to be a lot of information coming out, things that you didn't even realize before. The seeing of information, the revealing of information that's going to help you with so much clarity. And you're also going to feel so happy about your previous decisions because of what you're going to be learning in the third quarter of the year. And also, I feel like the third quarter of the year is you really opening back up your heart, you really opening up within just your life in general, being able to feel like you can be yourself. Because perhaps whatever it was that was currently like holding you back, maybe you felt like you couldn't really be yourself. You couldn't fully pursue what you wanted. Maybe there was even a lack of clarity around who you were and what you wanted. And it's so interesting that our Strength card, she's holding a sword. And then also we have the Queen of Swords and she's holding a sword. This is you stepping into your authenticity, really finding who you are, finding your clarity, being so happy with your decisions, being very direct about your decisions, and also having the strength to sever ties with things that, again, are no longer working for you. Being able to set clear boundaries, being able to be authentic and voice your opinions, to voice yourself and everything that you think in a way where it's like, this is just me. It's like stepping up into your authority figure type of persona where it's like, okay, here's how it is. It's so direct and clear. And I really see this as you stepping into your power in such a good way. Like, I wish you could feel what I feel from these cards right now, because the third quarter of the year, is you stepping into your inner wisdom, your inner strength, your inner power. There's definitely going to be big realizations that you have in the third quarter of the year that are going to empower you, that are also going to make you feel so clear and so good about the changes that are going to transpire this year. It's like you're gaining the clarity and all of a sudden being like, wow, that's like, these are the best decisions I've made thus far. And it's like you're stepping into your freedom as well. When I see the Queen of Swords, there's this energy of like, oh, I'm free and I'm clear and I am myself and I am empowered and I am wiser than ever and I am more in alignment than ever. This is you really getting into, like total alignment in this third quarter of the year. So let's go ahead and find out about the fourth quarter. So we have King of Wands being reversed here, and we also had these two cards come out. We have Death and the Magician that also wanted to come out as well for the fourth quarter of the year. So this is a time where there's going to be a lot of ideas and inspiration and new spontaneous activity that you are going to be really brewing. When the King of Wands is reversed, I feel like you're not quite taking action on it yet, but there's like new spontaneous feelings kind of coming out, new inspirations sort of brewing during this last quarter. And I feel like you're on the precipice of truly stepping into deeper independence and deeper into your power. But it's brewing more internally during the last quarter. It's like you're really starting to cultivate this, and I feel like going into 2026, that's where you're going to really start to be in the very leadership, independent position of your life. And we have Magician and the Death card being reversed. Death is the transformation, the letting go of the old you, the old life, the old version of you that no longer resonates. And then you are stepping into your Magician energy, which is when you call your power back, and you also really step into realizing like, I'm the creator of my reality and I can create anything. If I can dream it, I can live it. If I can visualize it, I can create it. And that's what the Magician reminds us of. And that's going to be the energy again that you're stepping into in the fourth quarter of your year, is like really becoming the magician of your life. And it's going to be such a liberating energy. And I feel like it's because you also feel like you have the freedom. There was something before that you were tied to that was really taking away your sense of freedom when it came to being who you really want to be, pursuing what you really want to pursue. And this is your year of breaking out of that and then stepping into, ooh, I have the freedom to be exactly who I want to be. And then you're going to be truly creating that, because the Magician is the creator. You're going to be creating that in the last quarter of the year. This is when you are planning it, really feeling it, feeling the freedom, enjoying the freedom, getting clarity on it. And then you're creating it and pursuing it in the fourth quarter, really becoming it. Like evoking that new energy and really embracing and becoming that new energy in the fourth quarter. So before we get into our next deck of cards, I'm going to quickly restart my camera, so I'll be right back. All right, we are back getting into some more information for your year. Let's see my group threes. Oh, that card just flew right out. We have abundance showing up for you. So this is also a year where you're going to be stepping into more abundance, because you're kind of seeing the areas of your life where there was lack. And I feel like you're not wanting that anymore. You're wanting to live a life where you can call in more, where you can accept more, where more is coming to you, more is flowing to you. So especially in regards to like career or your material world, like finances, what you own, etc. I feel like you're just realizing like, hey, I want more in my life. I don't want to settle for less. And through this realization, this is going to be kind of like a big precipice of giving you that courage to sever ties with the things that have been holding you back, or the things that have been limiting you in those ways. And then let's see what else we have here. Ooh, I feel like these two cards want to come out. So the next two, we have fertility and peace. Okay, so when fertility comes up, it can be taken literally, but it can also be taken figuratively. So for some, it can be a very fertile year, such as like, you know, if it's taken literally, it can be pregnancy. It can talk about even things like, for those of you that even struggle with fertility and you want to fix that, this could be a good indication that you are going to be finding the resources to help with that, all things like that. But it can also be taken figuratively. So again, for those of you where it's not taken literally, because it's only going to be for a small portion of you where that's taken literally, this can also be, so besides just unlocking the more fertile aspects, this would be fertile with ideas, fertile with energy to unlock your passion, fertile with the things that you pursue. Imagine planting a seed, but it's in fertile soil. It grows so much faster. So you're stepping into a more fertile period of your life where things are going to happen a lot quicker. Things are going to happen a lot faster for you. The ideas that you have seem to take off faster than they normally do. It's kind of like no longer waiting. It's no longer having to wait such a long period before something happens, before something manifests. It's kind of like any idea that you have, it's very fertile. It catches into the soil right away and grows right away. So being more fertile, again, literally or figuratively in those ways. Then we also have the peace card. So inviting in more relaxation, being able to breathe, especially in terms of the things that were giving you anxiety over the past year or so, the things that made you feel lack, the things that made you feel unreliable. There's going to be a sense of inner peace coming out, a sense of oh, it's a breath of fresh air. I no longer have that worry. I no longer have that problem. I am severed from it. It is no longer in my life. It is a previous chapter. It's in the past. It's no longer being carried around with you. So that is going to be happening as well. The next deck of cards that we're going to get into are the archetype cards, which I've been loving using, and it's going to represent the archetype that you are stepping out of and the archetype that you are stepping into. So we have the vampire coming up. This is quite interesting. I got an immediate message. So before we even get into the nitty-gritty details of it, some of you are realizing that there have been people in your life that have been taking advantage of you. Maybe stealing your energy, maybe stealing your resources, your time without contributing back and without giving back. It's constantly being drained. Those people you are going to be getting rid of from your life. I also feel like you are wanting to find more of your own independence as well, but getting into the nitty-gritty of the vampire archetype, the light attribute makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. So it's the ability to actually see it, be aware of it, and end that, to put up proper boundaries so that's no longer happening. So people that tend to drain your energy, and usually people are not conscious that they're doing this. They don't even realize that they're doing this. It's it's not their intention, but it just kind of is what it is, right? Or sometimes it is their intention, but that's a little bit more rare. Either way, I feel like you're becoming more strict in your boundaries with these types of people in your life, and you're going to be much more free because of it, much more cautious, much more discerning about who you allow in your life. Then we also have the shadow attribute, so depleting others for your psychic survival or chronic complaining and codependency. So sometimes we can end up chronically complaining about a situation of our life, but yet we're not doing anything to fix it. Sometimes we don't even see how we can fix it. Maybe that's why we're stuck in the constant complaining stage, because we don't see how we can fix it. This year, things are shifting for you where you're realizing how to fix the issues that you're in, and it might come down to, oh, I need the strength to sever this so that I'm no longer stuck in this pattern, so that I'm no longer complaining about it. This could be complaining about your financial state, but it's okay, well, when are we going to do something about it? Or constantly complaining about a relationship, but it's okay, well, are we choosing to stay in that, or are we choosing to let go and be free and rid ourselves of the situation and free ourselves out of the situation that is not serving us, that we're constantly complaining about anyway. So I think one of the realizations that you're having is I don't want to complain about life anymore. I'm going to freaking do something about it, because I no longer want to stay stuck in this pattern. I no longer want to stay stuck here. So that's going to be huge. And also at the same time, realizing who you no longer want in your life, or what you no longer want in your life that was draining your energy. You're going to be stepping into the light attribute of freeing yourself of all of that, taking your power back into your own hands to free yourself from all of those things. So, getting into our next deck of cards here, let's see more about your 2025 year. Let's see what we have. Okay, we also have power. So stepping into your power, being able to roar It's so interesting that we had the Strength card coming out and then we have the Power card, because both of these go hand in hand about really stepping into your power. And then we had Mars, which is stepping into your power. This is your power year. Group 3s, this is really stepping into your power. Being able to speak your mind, being able to finally take the action that maybe you know that you've needed to take for a while now, but maybe we lacked the inner strength to do it. This is your year of standing up for yourself. This is your year of calling your power back to be like, you know what? I have had enough. I'm going to do something about this. Whoo! That's going to be such a powerful time. We also have the revolutionary coming up. So you're creating a revolution in your life and you're being the leader of that revolution. So rather than waiting for someone to come rescue you, rather than waiting for circumstances to change, rather than waiting for somebody else to change, you're going to be the leader of your life. You're going to be the leader of the revolution to be like, you know what? I've had enough. I'm changing this. I'm no longer sticking around for this. This is no longer serving me. I don't want it anymore. You are going to be the leader of the revolution of your life to be able to change things around, which is going to allow you to call in more abundance, to live a much more abundant life, to call in your freedom, to step back into your magician energy where you are creating your life rather than letting life just unfold in front of you the way that it will, you know. It's like you stepping back into the creator's seat. It's like I'm creating a revolution because I'm so done with the old. I am so done with the lack, with the unsurety, with the instability, with the lack of reliability, etc., etc. You're so done with that. This is your year of fully eradicating all of that, stepping into your power, pursuing something big, taking tons of action. And the amount of change that's going to happen in your life this year, by the way, is massive. Mars takes action and makes such big progress that by the end of this year, by the end of 2025, you're going to look back and be like, whoa, did things ever change? Where it felt like they were stalled for a while, and it was stalled because we kept staying stuck in something that kept us in this repetitive pattern, that kept us stuck from actually manifesting what we really wanted to, because it's almost like we were waiting around for either someone else to change or for an external circumstance to change or waiting for somebody to rescue us, etc., etc. No, this year you're rescuing yourself. You're getting the resources that you need, getting the help that you need, getting the guidance that you need, getting all the things, all your resources together, and severing ties with things that held you back. And then the amount of momentum, it's like you're a slingshot. Like Mars in Sagittarius is like a slingshot. And I just see you slingshotting into your future because of all of this momentum that's been cultivating over the years, over the months, where there hasn't been any action taken, where it's kind of like we've been stuck. It's like you're going to slingshot forward into an entirely new future. So let's see the other cards that we get here. Any last messages from Spirit about your year ahead? Let's see. Any last messages for your year ahead? I am sacred. You are sacred. Start treating yourself as sacred. You are so sacred. This is a year of treating yourself that way. Then we have take a breath and try again. Take a breath and try again. If it didn't work out, if your intention didn't work out, take a breath and try again. And sometimes we need to try in a new way, because sometimes the old way, it's like, if we keep trying the same way, it's going to keep giving us the same results. So take a breath, try again, try in a new way. Then we have I embrace each and every moment and acknowledge how precious they are. Every moment is precious. Every single moment of your life is precious. And when we can take a moment to see the preciousness of the present moment, we really find peace and happiness and fulfillment. Then we have they entered your life for a specific reason to support you in a way that only they could. So everyone that enters your life, they enter it for a reason. There was a purpose, so there's no point in regretting anything that ever happened. They served a purpose, but not everyone is permanent. That's something important to remember. Not everyone is permanent. And let's get one last oracle card here to leave us off with. Okay, your last message. I am always in the right place at the right time. You are not behind on anything. You have not missed out on anything, and you will never miss out on the things that are meant for you, because all the things that are meant for you always will be. Always will be. There's no way that you could ruin something that's meant for you, because if it's meant for you, it's meant for you, and it's meant for all of who you are. Therefore, there's no way you could ever ruin it, if that makes sense. So you're always in the right place at the right time. You're right where you need to be. You could never make a mistake of your own life, because you're leading your life. Your life is for you. Your life is for your energy. So you're always in the right place at the right time. You're right where you need to be. And you can still manifest anything from this spot, and you're right here. You are right here. You are not behind. You're right where you need to be. So embrace each and every moment. Acknowledge how precious they are. You are sacred. I'm sending you so much love. This is your year prediction about all those things that are going to be happening, those deep themes. If you are curious more specifically about your love life or your career and finances, those predictions are going to be out as well. Depending on when you're watching this, they might already be out right now. So again, be sure to subscribe or stick around for those videos. And also, if you're wanting to get any crystal jewelry, some really high vibe, high quality, amazing crystal jewelry or crystals for your home, I'll have my jewelry and crystal store linked down below. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you all so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group 4s, if you chose this pile, this is going to be your reading, so let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, so beginning with your Astra dice, let's see what we have for you, some of the main themes. We have the moon in Aquarius in the first house. Ooh, this is a reinvention of yourself. This is a deep reinvention of yourself. The first house deals with your identity, your self-image, even your outwards appearance, things like that. The moon is your inner self, your inner emotions, your intuition, your inner callings that you might feel, even like just your internal kind of emotions, and especially how they relate to the self, okay? This could even be like self-love. And then Aquarius brings this sense of innovation. So there's going to be this whole reinvention, innovation on yourself, who you are. This is going to be really exciting. I'm actually so excited to see how you change, just because the energy that I felt as soon as I saw this roll out is like a really exciting reinvention, to where I'm actually seeing you at the end of 2025, entering 2026, and you're going to be looking back being like, ooh, I'm an entirely new version of myself. Like the definition of unrecognizable in the best possible way, because I feel like you're really stepping more into your authenticity, more of who you actually are, especially because your inner world has been speaking to you lately, my group 4s. And even going into 2025, I feel like your internal world has been speaking to you. Emotionally, you have felt this rebirth energy. You have felt kind of like, I maybe don't feel myself, because even if this is representing in the opposite way, where perhaps you feel a little bit lost right now, maybe you even feel a little bit like, I don't really know who I am, I don't know what my identity is, etc., or you're feeling this calling of like, oh, I feel like I want to become a new me, and you're feeling the new energy of you. Either way, no matter what side of the spectrum that you're on right now, both of those energies are actually leading you to this reinvention of you, to get more into alignment with who you actually are, so that emotionally your internal world actually aligns with your external world. You're going to be getting into alignment with both of those. So your internal world might be speaking to you right now thinking like, I want to be more. Or your internal world might be saying like, I'm inspired by these types of people, and I'm inspired by these types of things, and these things make me feel emotionally good. And you might be thinking that your external world or the persona that you're being isn't quite a match to that. So this year is the innovation and the reinvention of yourself, so that you can step into the version of you that is in alignment deep within and externally. So you might be going through a lot of different changes this year to get those two worlds into alignment. And again, like the emotion that I'm getting from this by looking at this is actually like literally so inspiring. I feel like you're going to be stepping more into just a version of you that genuinely feels in alignment, that you're actually going to be so proud of, to where you look in the mirror, for example, and you're like, ooh, that's me? Like, ooh, like that's literally the feeling that you're going to be getting as you do this reinvention, as you really find who you are and rediscover and uncover and et cetera, of who you are. Like, I actually see you looking in the mirror being like, that's me? Ooh, that's me. Like, there's going to be self-transformation on the deepest level this year for you. Maybe that's something that you're already thinking about, already planning, already wanting, etc. Or you're going to be discovering that this year. These next cards, we're going to get one card that's going to reveal more about the major themes and energy. That's going to be like the overarching theme and energy of your year. So let's see what comes out for you. We have the Hierophant. This is the card of higher learning, higher education, discovery. This is also the connection of the mind, body, and spirit. This could be also where we have people that we look up to, for example. So if you currently have people that you look up to where you're like, oh, I love where they're at in life, or I love who that person is, they're so inspiring to me. If you have certain idols where you notice yourself getting inspired by certain types of people, this is your year of learning from them and learning how to become that yourself, learning how to rise up into that yourself. The Hierophant is a massive card of higher education, higher learning. So there also might be certain things this year where you're called to learn a new skill, take a class, take a course, read books, educate yourself. This could be a year where you're into self-transformation books. This could be a year where you are thinking about going back to school for something and reinventing entirely who you are. All of those things. This is the card of higher education. It's also the card that talks about how you appear to society. So I also think that you're going to become more aware of like, how do other people perceive me? Not that you're going to be like putting tons of value towards that, but you're doing it in a way of like, how do I actually want other people to see me, and how do I want to see myself, and how can I step into that version of me to where I feel like I'm honoring my authenticity, not just in my inner world, but also in my external world where people know who I am. I'm actually showing up authentically. I'm showing up in a way that honors who I am, right? Not where I feel like I need to wear a mask, right? This is your year of breaking out of wearing masks. This is your year of breaking out of being somebody who you're not. This is a year of self-transformation on such a deep level. Like, it is just going to be wild. I also think that you're going to be doing things for yourself where it's almost like you're going to have like a refreshed appearance. And I think that people who, let's say, used to know you a few years ago, if you bump into them by the end of the year, they're almost going to be like, they're going to still like recognize you, but they're almost going to be like, wait, is that you? Because like, it's almost like you're changing on such a deep level that even parts of your appearance might be different, either through the clothes that you wear, your hair, maybe you're doing things for your body and your physical fitness where there's going to be a transformation there. It could be a myriad of different ways, right? But I do still think that, you know, people can be like, wait, is that you? But at the same time, they're like, wait, what? Because you're just changing on such a deep level in all of those ways. Which, by the way, again, spirit is just, it keeps showing me, even, I think this is a moon behind her, but in my mind right now, it's showing up as a mirror. And it's almost like you, I'm almost seeing you looking into the mirror being like, dang, that's me. Like, I am so proud of myself. I am so proud of the transformation I made. I'm so proud of who I've become. Like, that is the energy of this year. And I think that it's from all the self-work that you're going to be doing, the inner work and the outer work that you're going to be implementing this year. But this is very much a year about you, by the way. This is a year about you and your transformation. So we also have the 9 of Wands being reversed. So in other aspects of your life, you have felt defeated before. I'm also randomly hearing that some of you had a lack of like self-worth because of different experiences that you've had in your past. And this is a year where you're going to be challenging that and learning how to win those battles. This could be an inner battle with yourself that maybe you felt torn down by. And now this is a year of like coming back up, excuse me, and winning your battles, finding that inner strength, persevering through old challenges that used to stop you. I feel like this is your year, and I'm really hearing the word unstoppable. Even if you reach certain challenges where all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can't do it anymore, because I do feel like you've reached these before where it's almost like this energy of like, oh, I can't do it anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, this is getting too hard. But you have a bigger vision. You've always had a bigger vision. And I feel like this year you're actually going to be challenging yourself and saying, you know what? I'm not giving up this time. I am persevering. I am going to continue moving forward, regardless of what other people say, regardless of what I run into. I am moving forward. We also have the Empress showing up in the reverse position for you. So another thing that I'm seeing here too is your self-image was almost out of alignment. The Empress is where we feel so good about ourselves. The Empress is where we're nurturing ourselves. There's tons of self-care. This is also a year where you're realizing that you want to come back into self-care, nurturing yourself, and calling in more abundance. Venus is the ruler of the Empress card in tarot. And Venus is the planet of love, beauty, and money. This is your year of looking at where in your life have you felt a lack of love, beauty, and money? This is your year of empowering yourself. My goodness, my group fours. This is the year of refinding your confidence and refinding your inner strength and power to reinvent yourself to where you love yourself. And it's like this nurturing energy as well. And then we also have the Three of Cups as well. So there's going to be celebrations. I think that the people that you're surrounded by too might actually shift and change, and you're going to be surrounding yourself with people who also empower you. Surrounding yourself with people who are actually in alignment with this new identity, with this new self-image. So for example, if you start being one of those people that you're like, I'm getting my life together, I'm going to start going to the gym, I'm going to start doing this, start doing that, whatever those things are, you're actually going to align with people. Friends, you're going to be making connections with people and friends that are also on that same similar journey, or at least reflect that same sort of similar energy. And you're going to feel really empowered by the people that you're going to be surrounded by, and shifting how you see yourself. I'm really seeing within the Empress being reversed that there was this negative self-image, almost tearing yourself down, not feeling yourself. Not feeling in your like divineness. And this year you're actually finding that divineness on a whole new level. A whole new level. The Empress is like self-care, self-nurture. We also have Two of Pentacles showing up for you as well. So the Two of Pentacles card indicates balance. Balancing your work and your life. I'm almost seeing this as a committed relationship randomly too, because it's like in this card it shows up as the Two of Rings, and this kind of looks like the marriage symbol. So I don't know if some of you are trying to manifest a good partner. Maybe you're single and you want to manifest a partner. This might be a year where the right person actually shows up for you. Ooh, I'm actually feeling that really deeply. For those of you that are actually really trying to call in the right partner is going to show up for you. And it's because of this new, you're getting into alignment with this self-image that's going to be a reflection of your internal world. And because of that, you're actually getting in alignment with who you really are. Therefore, you're going to be able to attract a person who knows who they are, and they're going to be a really good match for you. Outside of that, for those of you that are already in a relationship and it's already like going really well, I see that relationship going to the next level of commitment. Okay. And then also just on the more actual aspect of this card, because the Two of Pentacles usually doesn't symbolize marriage, but I'm absolutely just seeing it in this particular card for you. And I feel like that was like just a message that Spirit wanted to also convey. But the Two of Pentacles is a card of balance, balancing our emotions, being able to balance the fluctuations of life, feeling like you're on top of it. So when it comes to things that used to kind of tip you over, used to make you feel imbalanced, used to make you feel insecure, all of those things, you're going to be right on top of them this year to where they're no longer tipping you over. They're no longer making you feel imbalanced or insecure. You're really like learning how to juggle life in a whole new way. You're learning how to juggle your responsibilities so much better than ever before. You're going to feel so on top of it. You're also learning how to balance your sleep and wakefulness is something that I'm really hearing, especially if for those of you that used to struggle with waking up at a certain time and staying committed to that. Other commitments that you've made in life, whenever you make a commitment now, I feel like you're going to be so much more intentional with the commitments that you do say yes to and accept and the responsibilities that you take on. And you're just so much more responsible and also committed to the things that you say yes to. It's like you're really becoming very reliable. You're becoming a really reliable person, which I think is also going to inspire you because this is going to allow you to trust yourself more because you're realizing like, oh, the promises that I make, I actually keep. And the promises that you make to yourself, the commitments that you make to yourself, you're going to actually keep those ones too. And that's going to make you trust yourself so much more. And it's also going to harmonize relationships in your life because people will feel much more of a reliable energy around you too. And I feel like this is also why it's like the time of manifesting the right person in your life or taking things to a deeper level with somebody who's already in your life, because it's kind of like there's this sense of readiness that's there. There's this sense of truly discovering yourself and being of more alignment, being in more alignment than you ever have previously. So this is also going to be such a benefit of this next year for you. And the next deck of cards that we're going to get into are going to reveal each quarter of the year. So there's going to be a card that represents quarter 1, a card that represents quarter 2, 3, 4, and we're just going to get more information on how the year is progressing and unfolding for you. So let's see what we get for you regarding each quarter of the year. So let's see, quarter 1, what can we expect for my group 4s during quarter 1? So we have 8 of Wands. There's gonna be a lot of momentum and inspiration during the first quarter. And I feel this for you deeply because I just see you as somebody who's probably already set intentions and goals, or at least already has some form of vision of what you want to accomplish or do this year. And this is going to create a lot of momentum. If you have not created those yet, I would highly recommend doing that because it just seems like there's a lot of forward moving energy and a lot of momentum during the beginning of the year. I think that you're going to feel energized. You're actually going to feel energized. You might actually feel energized enough to wake up earlier than you normally do, to get more accomplished than you normally do. And I see you just like, there's a burst of energy and a burst of inspiration through the entire first quarter of the year. There could be things that are also really exciting you during the first quarter. There could be things that are just happening where you're like, oh, I'm so excited about this. And life just feels pretty dang good during this first quarter of the year. And the 8 of Wands can also symbolize like a lot of like special events or communication or just fun talks that are happening too. So there could be people in your life where you're having a lot of fun talking to them, being like, oh my God, look at this, look what I'm doing here. There's things that you are excited to share. There's like this bursting, bubbly kind of energy that's coming out in that first quarter where there's exciting momentum. You're excited about it. You're excited to talk about it. You're excited to take action on it. 8 of Wands can also occasionally symbolize travel as well. So that might be another aspect. Then it's interesting. We have the 3 of Cups over here, and then we have the 3 of Cups over here, and it is reversed. Your second quarter of the year, 3 of Cups being reversed. There's a few different messages I'm getting from this. For one, the second quarter of the year, I feel like is your deep time of possibly taking time for yourself, possibly a little bit more alone time in the second quarter, because this is your time frame of really finding yourself. Because sometimes it's really hard to reinvent ourselves when we're constantly being surrounded by familiar people and familiar circumstances. We tend to fall back into our old habits, our old ways of being, because other people sort of project our old identity back onto us. And I see in the second quarter of the year is your time of being a little bit more like, I really want to do a big transformation. And you might notice that you are saying no to plans a little bit more often. You might notice that you are staying in a little bit more often, maybe going deep in your own inner journey, your own inner reading, like learning, things like that. And it's a lot less time spent outwardly and a lot more time spent internally and doing that inner transformation. So that's going to happen during the second quarter. Another thing that I'm seeing is that you might realize that you don't resonate with certain people in your life anymore during the second quarter because of the changes that you're making. You might realize like, there's some people that just don't seem to be on my same path. They don't seem to understand who I am and what I'm doing. And if that does happen, that's totally okay. Because there's going to be people in your life that you are attracting that really do understand who you are and where you're going. And you're going to be connecting with those people. But the second quarter is more about you rather than who you're surrounded with, okay? So the second quarter is about you figuring yourself out and going through those inner transformations that are going to be really important for you. I feel like this card wants to come out for your third quarter. So your third quarter, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Wow, third quarter, you are already gaining momentum on the new changes that you're making because you're spinning the wheel. So you're kind of changing your fortune for the future, and you're going to feel this deeply during the third quarter. You're going to feel deeply like, wow, I've actually like literally changed my future. I've changed my fate. You're going to feel that so deeply because it's almost like going into the year or even in the previous year, you kind of felt like you didn't quite like where your life was unfolding. It wasn't quite what you wanted. And because of the changes that you're implementing, and especially during the second quarter when you're truly deeply making those transformations, the third quarter is like, oh shit, the tides have turned, the fates have changed, and it's going to be palpable. It is going to be deep. And it's like your luck is changing too, because the Wheel of Fortune too brings in a lot of good luck. So you're actually going to feel this really good uplifting momentum of energy around this time of like, oh, good things are really happening. And you're going to be able to see and almost feel into the new kind of future that is transpiring because of the changes that you're making. And you're going to feel on top of it. Like I see you as this like cat, this Sphinx cat kind of on top being like, I've changed the fates. Here I am riding on top. This is my new life. I've done this, I've created this, I deserve this. There's like a really good energy around this. And for those of you that are quite spiritual and read into astrology, for some reason astrology is really coming up in this card too. And I feel like you're gonna sort of recognize your inner power, and you're gonna kind of realize like, hey, I'm really in control of my fates here. The things that I choose to do actually create such a big impact. And I think that's going to be a big realization that you have. And not saying that astrology is negative. Actually, astrology is so freaking accurate. But astrology is kind of like your autopilot blueprint, whereas we also have conscious free will. And you're starting to kind of tap into more of that conscious free will rather than living by the path that was maybe laid out before. You're using more of that conscious free will, right? And there is that autopilot self, and you're kind of overcoming more of that autopilot self and moving more into the conscious creator and becoming the master of your fortune. So you're going to start to really feel that fortune shifting in the third quarter of the year, really feeling on top of it and really starting to see that new future unfold. New opportunities are going to be coming in that are more in alignment with this new destiny you're creating, this new reality that you're creating, the new path that's unfolding. New opportunities are going to start to come in that reflect these new changes that you're making. Your direction in life might actually change around that time, by the way. Your entire direction in life, I feel like because of the changes that you're making, you're like, yep, my direction has shifted, and this is going to be a time where you do a lot of welcoming of these new shifts I'm getting so much information from these cards. Like I wish there was words to actually like fully convey what I see. Because a lot of the times, and this has been happening a lot lately, where there's so much information coming through from my guides, but it can be hard to even put into words because there's so much energy, and my guides speak to me through energy, but the energy that they give has like a million words that I could put to it. And so it's kind of like trying to convey it in these videos. But yeah, your life is going to be shifting so much to basically say it in the most basic way. And it's going to be very positive, where you're feeling like, again, you're in the controller's seat. Then the fourth quarter of the year, we have another amazing card that came out for you. We have the Six of Wands. This is you feeling successful. This is also you reaching a big milestone that deserves a celebration. There is some sort of celebration. Look at how she's like celebrating, like she won something, she achieved something, she got somewhere. By the end of the year, the last quarter of the year, you'll have already achieved so much to where you're feeling like a success. You're feeling like, oh, look at the changes that I made. Look at what I accomplished. Look at what I did. This is such a good feeling. Like the energy that I get from this reading, my group 4s, is like next level beautiful. I really love it. Like I'm so proud of you. Like, look at what you're doing. So as you enter this year, be sure to stick to these goals that you're making, because look at what's unfolding because of the energy that you're already kind of cultivating and creating, the intentions that you're already kind of leading into this next year with. The Six of Wands here is such a card of success, celebration, reaching a milestone. This can indicate things like graduation, weddings, marriage, getting a promotion, getting recognition. If any of you are trying to strive for media recognition, this can very much be being in the spotlight, because look at how the spotlight's on her right here. Like this can very much be where we are in the spotlight within media, or within something that we've accomplished, within something that we've done. If any of you work in an industry where public recognition is important for your success, this would be an indication that by the end of the year, there's going to be some sort of like more public recognition or a new milestone being reached by the end of the year, and you just feeling very accomplished. I'm also seeing a lot of you holding up an award here. So for any of you who work in any sort of industry where an award is possible, I see you getting that by the end of the year. For those of you where like you're not quite in that phase of life, or that's not really making sense, if you're in schooling for anything, this is you getting some sort of special achievement there, or some sort of special achievement in life in general. So again, if those things aren't relevant for you, this would be like an achievement in life in general, like a milestone that you set out to achieve, that by the end of the year, you're like, oh my God, I did it. Like, oh, and there's such an exciting feeling where other people are going to be celebrating you too and cheering you on and being like, look at you, you did it, you did it, you did it. There's that sort of feeling. It's an accomplishment. It's such an accomplishment. So feel proud of yourself, because that is what is coming. But before we get into our next deck of cards, I'm going to restart my camera really quick just so that it doesn't cut out on us. Okay, we are back. So your next few cards for the year of 2024, the energies that you can expect. Oh, that card just flew out. We have organization coming up. So this one actually symbolizes a few different things. For one, it can be organizing your life in an entirely new way, which I feel like is very relevant for you. Feeling more organized, feeling more put together, feeling more yourself. I also feel like you're organizing your schedule to where you literally feel more put together. Because before, I feel like there was this chaotic energy and you just weren't about it. You weren't about the disorganization. I also see you doing a clear out of your belongings and getting more organized with your belongings. I'm seeing you becoming more organized within your schedule and you fitting in the things that are important to you. If you felt like time was a difficult thing for you to kind of master and get a handle on, this year I see you making room for the things that matter most to you, and I feel like you're getting on top of your schedule to where time is no longer kind of like an issue for you. You're really becoming more of the master of your time. Organization can also be where we are connecting with organizations, like literal companies, organizations that are going to help us achieve our goals. So meeting with the right organizations, making connections with them. It can also be your own organization. So for any of you that are business owners or anything like that, it can be you kind of cultivating a broader and more expansive organization, getting to the next level with your organization. It can indicate things like that. So those are the different aspects that this card represents. So depending on exactly where you're at in your life, that might have those different relevances. Then we also have friendship coming up. You're gonna be making new friendships this year, and we touched on that, okay? And I'm also seeing the healing of friendships. Like if there was friendships where maybe they didn't quite understand us, I do feel like those people are coming back around. So I don't want you to be distraught about that. I feel like they're gonna come back around and really understand you, you know, before the end of the year and feel more like, you know what, I'm really proud of you. Like you're gonna get this recognition, this proudness from other people in your life, and also making really new important friendships that are going to be very meaningful for you. So that is also coming through. And let's see, the next card that we're gonna get is the archetype card. So the archetype that you are leaving behind versus the archetype that you are going to be stepping into in 2025. So let's see what your archetype is. My group fours. We have the Judge coming up. We actually have a few different cards. Should we do all of them? Let's do all of them because they obviously came up for a reason. So we have the Judge coming up. So the light and shadow attributes of the Judge, we have balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. The shadow attribute is offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. So what I'm getting for you from this is that your old self might have been very judgmental of you. You might have felt very judgmental of yourself. Perhaps even addicted to drama for some of you. Like that's randomly coming up. If that's relevant, then that's relevant. But the judgments, it almost felt like there was too much judgment of yourself, judgment of the external, judgment of society, judgment of others. And it might have really brought down your energy. It was excessive criticism and destructive criticism rather than constructive criticism, right? And when we approach things with more compassion, we can be a much better judge. We can be a much better judge of ourselves. And I feel like you're becoming more easy with yourself this year and judging yourself in a much lighter way, but also in a way that's more empowering, right? So rather than destructive and destructing yourself and causing harm in that way, I actually see you judging yourself in a more way where you're empowering yourself. You're like, you know what? I've done this before in my life, therefore I'm capable of this and I can do this. And I might have made a mistake here, but that's okay. I'm gonna learn from it and move forward, etc., etc. It's like this empowering way of judging yourself. And I also feel like you're getting rid of other judgmental tendencies that have brought down your energy before. Then we also have child nature. You're coming back to the natural essence of you rather than feeling like wearing an old mask that was no longer, you know, it didn't represent who you were. So the light attributes of the child nature, friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. You might also adopt an animal this year if you don't have one. Some of you, I just randomly heard that when I read that some of you might get inspired to get a pet companion. Again, that's relevant for those of you where that's actually like a thing. Some of you might already have that and perhaps you're just connecting to them on a deeper level, etc. But there's more to say about this. The shadow attribute, tendency to abuse animals, people, or the environment. So maybe we were like judgmental before, or maybe we just had this like removal from our natural self. Maybe we were surrounded by people who were really judgmental. This year, I really feel like you're moving away from judgments and coming back to this compassionate version of yourself who's stepping into the higher version of yourself. Where truly I feel like some of those old friendships, they're gonna be like, wait, you're not like criticizing the world with us anymore. You're all of a sudden like this light being that has positive news and positive things to say, etc., etc. And maybe you're gonna disconnect with them for a little while, but I really feel like you're moving more to this like positive self. And you're actually going to be a leader where you're going to be inspiring other people to be like you as well. Because there's this compassionate nature that's really coming out for you in this next year. And I feel like you might even get back into more nature as well. So you can take that card literally too, of getting back into nature. And then we also have the mediator, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. The shadow attribute is negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. So another thing that you're getting really good at this year is handling disagreements and also being able to speak your mind when you disagree with somebody. Maybe you've noticed in your friendships before that maybe there was difficulty disagreeing with people, or maybe any time we did, it kind of caused conflict rather than being something that was helping with the progress of learning and, growth. You're going to find ways of communicating in new ways that are going to help inspire growth. They're going to help inspire people to listen to you. So I feel like you're going to learn new ways of communicating with others, friendships, family members, even within your career, within your job, etc. You're going to learn new ways of communicating that are going to so help you get your point across. It's going to help people want to listen to you. It's going to help people want to stay engaged. And it's going to help people really respect and honor your opinion and want to hear your opinion rather than kind of like turning an eye. When there's a way that somebody approaches you about some information that either makes you really respect them and really listen to them versus other people where they try to tell you their opinions on something and you completely shut down. You're just like, oh, the way you're approaching this is like not something I want to hear. And it just causes you to immediately shut down and disregard anything that they have to say, even if it was going to be valuable. So I feel like you are kind of really learning a lot about communication this year yourself, which is going to be so beneficial. So those are the different archetypes that you're moving out of and away from and into, and all those kind of reflected onto each other a little bit in different ways. So quite interesting. Let's see what else we get for you here, my group fours. Your year of 2025, we have paradox showing up. I think you're going to realize a lot of like interesting paradoxes this year where it's kind of funny how reality works, because there can be two truths at the same time. And I think that that's one thing that you're going to be realizing, and it's just going to kind of be something where you're able to let go of trying to control situations or trying to control the opinion of others, because you're kind of just realizing like two things can be true at the same time, and I'm just going to let others be and I'm going to allow myself to be. This card is speaking to me that you're stepping into an era of higher consciousness, higher awareness, and it's going to allow you to live life with more freedom, with more surrender, with more like compassion, with more understanding. Like it's going to be beautiful how much you're growing this year in terms of like your awareness, your understanding, having just a higher level of consciousness where, yeah, it's like you just understand people and reality so much more than you ever have in the past. And it's going to be very transformative for you in creating more organized relationships, creating more abundant friendships and all of that, creating more respect and yeah. So next card, we have the card of take risk. You're going to be bold this year. This is a year of boldness coming out for you, where things that you used to not take a risk on, this year you're kind of like, you know what? I have the courage. I have the courage to take the leap of faith. I have the courage to climb this mountain. I have the courage to, say what I want to say without the fear of, losing something in the process. It's sort of this realization of, I need to pursue my higher self, my higher goals, and I'm willing to take those risks. It's like you finally feel this freedom and this liberation to be yourself, the freedom to take these higher callings and to honor yourself more. So that's coming through. And with that being said, let's get into our last deck of cards. Anything else that Spirit wants you to know or say or leave you off with for the year of 2025. My group fours. Okay, here is our cards. Okay. This one says, are you projecting? I feel like this is your learning of communication Are you projecting? I feel like you're going to be so aware of when people are projecting opinions, when people are projecting things. You're going to be so much of a better judge of character. You're going to be a much better judge of opinions, because you're going to be able to see when somebody's projecting something to you. You're going to be able to see your own inner projections. And if you don't know what that means yet, you'll know what it means by the end of this year. But it basically means that our beliefs of the world or our current experiences, sometimes we project them onto other people. And it doesn't always mean that they are true. So that's the interesting paradox. You're learning so much more about communication this year and so much more about the human psyche. And it is going to make you a very good mediator, a very good communicator, and a very good judge of character. And this is going to allow you to step into your higher self, by the way. That's why we have such a big self-transformation. This is going to really allow you to step into the highest, greatest, best, more aligned version of yourself than you've ever been thus far. It's going to allow you to foster real connection, real relationships, and also manifest a partnership. So if you're currently single and wanting a partnership, it's going to allow you to manifest a partnership where it's very equal, very committed, and very in alignment with you, because you're truly finding who you really are, and the growth that you're doing is going to be what allows you to unlock a very healthy relationship. For those of you, again, that are already in a relationship, I see that relationship going to the next level just because there's so much more alignment there. Then we also have, how can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? What a beautiful question. How can you be grateful for a past experience that has shaped you? Then we have such a fitting card to end us off on. My evolution is beautiful. My evolution is beautiful. What a beautiful card to end us off on for your year of 2025. Your evolution is so beautiful this year. The whole year is about your evolution. That is like the main theme of this entire year for you. It is going to be absolutely beautiful. All those different intentions that you're making, the changes that are going to transpire because of it. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. My beautiful group number 4s. I am sending you so much love. If you want to know more specifically about your love life or your career and finances for 2025, there's going to be specific videos on those that are coming out very soon. If not, they might already be out, depending on when you're watching this. So be sure to stick around for that or subscribe so that you don't miss out on those. And if you want to get any beautiful crystal jewelry to raise your vibe, to be the highest version of yourself and all of that, I'll have my crystal and jewelry shop linked down below, where we make the most high quality crystal beaded bracelets and it's just so many other amazing things. So I'll have that link down below, and thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you all so much love, and until next time, bye. All right, my group number 5s, if you chose this pile, this is gonna be your 2025 year ahead prediction. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. All right, my group 5s, let's roll your Astro Days, and let's see what we get for you. So we have the Sun in Leo in the 10th house. Okay, so the 10th house is the house of aspirations, what we are moving towards, our big goals and desires. The Sun is your soul. It's your illumination, the things that light you up. And it's also kind of where you shine and where your spotlight is. So there's gonna be something here where you're gonna have an opportunity to shine, especially regarding one of your big goals that you have. The Sun being in Leo, by the way, Leo is also the spotlight. The fact that we have 2 spotlight energies here, being in the 10th house, there is going to be an opportunity for you to shine or gain some form of recognition in regards to your career or a big goal that you have. I feel like there's going to be opportunities that are going to come your way this year that are going to be exciting. They're going to lead you more towards expanding your goals and also lead you towards really discovering more of what your soul is happiest doing, finding where you shine. So for any of you who are kind of like either confused about your career still, you're going to be finding more about where you shine. If you're confused about the direction you want to go in your life, you're going to be figuring that out and figuring out where you shine. For those of you who are already really established career-wise, or at least know the direction that you want to go in, you're going to be garnering all the right opportunities your way, And there's going to be opportunities that allow you to expand in the spotlight, that allow you to achieve higher things. Ooh, and then randomly flipped that over, and then the 5th house wanted to come out too, which is all about like fun and like pleasure, creativity. So your creativity is going to be unlocked more this year as well, which is quite interesting. So, before we get into these cards, we're going to dive into this deck, which is a Major Arcana deck, and it's going to reveal more of the overall big themes that are going to happen in 2025. So we're gonna get one card here that's gonna show us the overall energy and theme for my group 5s for the year of 2025. So let's see what we get here for you. Oh, we have the World coming out. So the World card is a really powerful card, actually. It is the last card in the Major Arcana sequence, and it indicates achieving something really big. It indicates the ending of a chapter, the culmination of a path, kind of getting to the top of a path. It's also when we feel like the world is at our fingertips, and the world can also indicate travel. It can indicate worldly recognition or expansion or new opportunities that just take you further than you've been before. Like, imagine your world expanding. That is the theme of 2025 for you. Your world is expanding. You're going to feel like there's so much more at your fingertips this year. So much more is going to become available to you. You might be called to really step more into the spotlight, more into your confidence. You might be called to expand yourself and take on new opportunities. Your world, I feel like, is shifting, and you're kind of like calling your power into your world more, kind of becoming more of the deliberate creator of your world. Like, maybe you have big dreams, goals, or aspirations this year. Maybe you desire to expand yourself in certain ways or expand into new opportunities, to maybe travel more, see more of the world. Maybe you have certain goals this year that are really big and meaningful to you. I oddly see a really big opportunity coming up for you. So my group 5s, I just have this feeling like there's a big opportunity for you this year. This could be a big opportunity for you to, again, step into the spotlight, or something coming your way to help you achieve a bigger vision that you've wanted. But you're really also kind of like taking more control of your world. We also have the 3 of Wands coming up for you. This is a card of expansion and travel as well. For some of you, there could be an opportunity to have more of a laptop lifestyle, to work from anywhere in the world. Perhaps you're interested in making a big leap of some kind, a big shift of some kind. Maybe even moving to a new location in the world. Some of you, like, it could be as big as that, but there's some like big things this year. I think that you're gonna look back on 2025 and you're gonna be like, wow, that was a really big year for me. That was really significant. There's significant things happening for you this year. And the 3 of Wands also is like embarking on a journey. So I see you having adventures this year, embarking on a journey, which the journey that you're taking on this year, you might feel like you have a lot to do and you might feel like there's a lot ahead of you. But I think you're going to accomplish a lot this year. A lot. And if you're wondering, like, can I make it to the end of this vision? Because you might be starting at a place where you're like, whoa, there's a lot ahead of me. There's a lot to do here. Can I make it all happen? I really feel like the potential for you to make it all happen is like really there. The fact that we have the World card and it's the last card in tarot, which indicates like the completion of something. I think that you have the ability to complete an entire vision that you have this year. We also have the 9 of Wands coming out as well. So this is the card of courage to get back up and try again, to also step more into like your inner warrior. The Nine of Wands is the warrior who doesn't give up. And he's also the one that kind of really starts to find his strength, like his or her strength, and really starts to see like I'm going to just get back up no matter what comes my way. I'm going to continue pushing forward no matter what comes my way, because this means so much to me that I'm not going to give up on it. This means so much to me that no matter how difficult it is at times, I'm going to keep going, because getting to the end is worth it. Getting to the goal is worth it. So I'm going to not lose faith. I'm going to not give up. I'm just going to continue forward. Like, that's the Nine of Wands energy. And then the Nine of Wands energy is also when we are so much better with our boundaries as well, when it comes to self-respect, when it comes to keeping certain boundaries in place so that we feel more confident being ourselves, stepping outside of our comfort zone, because we know that we have the tools to protect ourselves and to conquer and all of that. It's like you're really gaining the confidence to keep yourself in alignment. And then we also have Sacred Union coming up. Ooh, okay. So this is the Lovers card in regular tarot. There could be a really important relationship this year. For those of you who chose this pile, there could be a really important sacred connection happening this year. So for some of you, this could be something like, you know, if you're single, this could be finding somebody that you're really interested in, getting into a relationship with them. For others of you, if you're already in a relationship, the Lovers would indicate that relationship getting closer, maybe taking the next step together, whatever that might be for you, whether that's like moving in, getting engaged, getting married, things like that. There could also be, for those of you who love is like not in the picture for you, if that's like irrelevant, the Lovers can also indicate important business partnerships or friendships that are really important that come into our lives. So just the fact that we also have the World here, and the fact that we have like all this goal energy, like reaching higher aspirations, reaching goals, I also feel like the Lovers is like making the right connections this year that are going to help bring you the right opportunities, help take you to the next level, getting that recognition, calling in your soul tribe, calling in the people that are meant to be in your life, calling in the people that are meant to kind of support you in this dream that you have, in this goal. If some of you work in a field where gaining clients or people or public recognition or things like that, this is sort of like calling in the right clients, calling in the public eye for what it is that you need, or like for the growth and attainment of your goal. So the Lovers can also indicate all of those things as well. Intuitively, I'm really feeling that this is definitely going to be calling in like the right people to network with. And I'm getting this feeling of opportunity, this deep feeling of opportunity. For those of you that are really seeking love or are in a relationship that is possibly ready to take the next step this year, I'm 100% also seeing that within the Lovers as well. The tarot has so many layers, and it usually speaks upon multiple layers in a reading. Then the next card that we have is the Conqueror of Chalices. So this is the King of Cups. You're also really going to be focused on fulfillment this year. And then the King energy really gives me this feeling and this essence that you're really putting yourself first this year when it comes to your needs, when it comes to like, especially your emotional needs, by the way. I feel like you've learned a lot about how important filling your cup is, how important fulfillment is, how important self-care and self-nurture is. And I also see you stepping more into your power when it comes to fulfillment, when it comes to keeping yourself nurtured and energized. And I see you really putting yourself first in those ways. I'm also seeing a lot more self-trust when it comes to your intuition, because like the cups are so connected to our intuition, and the king, he's kind of like the master at his emotional well-being, and also within understanding what his emotions are trying to tell him, right? So I see you becoming more of a master of that this year, getting on top of that, especially if you felt wavy in that area, or if it has felt imbalanced at all, or if you have felt drained. I feel like this is a year where you're going to be really focused on fixing those holes in your cup so that you're not getting drained. I see you being so much more, I want to use the word cautious when it comes to your time, your energy, your resources, and what you have to give. I feel like you are so much better at sticking to certain boundaries and being honest when it comes to like what you're willing to take on and the time frame that you give yourself with certain things. I feel like you've deeply learned not to kind of sacrifice your well-being in order to achieve something or in order to please somebody else. I feel like you're just so much better with speaking your truth, speaking what's truly on your mind, like letting your authenticity shine a lot more. So that's really coming through this year as well. So that is what we have there. The next cards that we're going to get into is going to be a really fun part. We're going to be pulling a card that represents each quarter of the year of 2025 for you, just so you can get a good idea of like how it's going to progress through the year. So for example, the first 3 months, we're going to get a card for that. Then we're going to get a card for like the next 3 months after that. So each quarter of the year, we're going to be gaining some insight on what you can expect. So let's see. My group fives, quarter one. Ooh, okay, so quarter one, we have the 7 of Cups here. And the 7 of Cups symbolizes us having a lot of options and sort of figuring certain things out. So in the first quarter of the year, I feel like you're somebody who puts a lot on your plate naturally, which is probably why this is the year where you're really learning how to balance that better, because it seems like you're maybe starting the year with a lot of goals, a lot of tasks, a lot of aspirations, maybe a lot of resolutions, or like there's a lot going on. You're somebody who naturally has a lot going on. I really feel like that in your energy. But this is like the first quarter of the year. It's like you are juggling a lot, which is like totally cool, because the 7 of Cups being upright too is I feel like you're starting to see what really matters most to you. And you might be starting to see like, wow, I always have a lot going on. And some of you might get inspired to narrow that list a little bit to kind of focus on like what is the priority. And then others of you, you might be like, oh, well, I love doing all of these things. Maybe naturally you just like juggling a lot of ideas, a lot of projects, a lot of things. There could also be a daydreamy energy that you have within this first quarter, because also with the 7 of Cups, it's like kind of being the visionary, where we're looking at all the different possibilities, like, oh, I could do this year, or, oh, I could do that, and oh, I could do that. But it's really important. It comes with a reminder to not overwhelm yourself or not add too many things to the plate, because when we add too many things to our plate, then we can't finish any of them. And this is your year of finishing things. So I think that this first quarter is asking yourself, what are my priorities this year? What are the things that are going to matter a lot that I do complete, that I do get done, goals that I really want to reach? That's going to be this first quarter. The second quarter of the year, we have the 8 of Wands being reversed. Okay, so the second quarter, this is the quarter where you are going to be narrowing things down a little bit and figuring out what are those most important things that I need to maybe work on, those really important things that I need to do. Because I also feel like you're somebody who, you might be a really high achiever, and you might put a lot of like expectation on yourself. And when things are taking a long time, when things are delayed, you might get a little bit hard on yourself and it might make you restless. So something that I'm sort of seeing here is this energy of you kind of looking at what are those priorities, what are the things that mean the most to you? Because as you narrow that down and figure that out, like things are gonna move so much faster, right? Like imagine using one battery to operate like 10 different things, but they're all running on one single battery. Those things are gonna move so slowly. They might not even turn on at all, to be honest. The battery might not even be powerful enough to power all those 10 things. We might be wondering why nothing's moving forward. So that's why it's so important to focus on like one or two things at a time so that you can actually keep them powered up and reach to your goal. I know there's like spiritual advice coming through here, but the cards I feel like always reveal so much, and spirit always has like underlying messages to say. So yeah, anyway. Then we have for your third quarter, oh yes, the devil being reversed. I love when this card comes up in the reverse position. This is one of my favorites. So the third quarter of the year for you, you are going to liberate yourself from feeling stuck, especially because the second quarter looks like maybe it was more full of those sort of realizations of, I may be taking on too much right here. Maybe I need to like focus on one or two things. Or it's also the discovery of what has been stopping you, what has been standing in your way. It's this realization of what has been stopping you from the full achievement of your goals. Maybe by the second quarter, you're kind of like, I'm not quite where I want to be yet. And if I'm going to reach this big goal by the end of the year, I need to shift some things. I need to like recalibrate. There's this recalibration energy in the second quarter. And then the third quarter is the full opening and unlocking, right? Because the devil card, when it's upright, we're like locked into certain limitations, certain chains. Like you can see these locks, right? When it's reversed, it is the unlocking. We are no longer being limited. We are no longer being held back. We are no longer being restricted or restrained. We no longer feel restricted or restrained. So these could be limitations that we've put on ourselves through fears or limiting beliefs or other factors. It could even be external factors, such as like, I can't do this because I have this responsibility, or I have this, or I have that. The devil being reversed is this unhinging and this unlocking so that you can move forward, so that all this energy, all this stuck energy gets liberated and it gets pushed off. And I'm hearing the word quantum leap because I almost feel like for you, there's this underlying energy that's been accumulating for so long that just wants to slingshot forward. There's a part of you that just wants to slingshot into the future. And maybe that's been brewing for quite some time. And right when we unhinge ourselves from either the internal limitations, the internal blocks, or even the external ones, whichever, or a combination of them both, as soon as we sort of kind of liberate ourselves from that, it's like all that culmination of energy that's wanted to release and shoot you forward, all of a sudden it can do so. And then we create a quantum leap where we slingshot forward in life so quickly that things just start happening really quickly. And I'm getting this energy that this is going to happen in the third quarter, where there's like this courage to leave behind things that were not working for you. Oh yeah, and then for our last quarter, I felt like pulling an extra card. There was one card that felt like coming out on top of this. So Knight of Pentacles being reversed, and then the Fool card for your fourth quarter. I see you leaping off into a new beginning by the end of the year because, for one, the World card, you will have completed certain things by the end of this year that you're like, reach that, and now there's going to be like new aspirations coming in. Knight of Pentacles also being reversed here. I feel like you are, letting go of perfectionism, to be able to move forward. Oh yeah, and then the Fool card, quantum leap. You're going to be at a completely new stage or phase. I'm also hearing that because we have the World and the Fool, this indicates like something coming full circle, something coming full cycle. So I do feel like you're going to be reaching a completion by the end of the year, the completion of a goal, the reaching of a goal, or yeah, like something like this where something is culminating, the achievement of something. And then because we're coming back to this Fool card at the end of the year, it's kind of like taking on a new beginning. I'm hearing the word attainment. Attainment, because we're letting go of perfectionism. We're like putting ourselves out there. Really stepping into it. Like the Fool card is like this stepping into energy. This could be where you have that opportunity to kind of step into the spotlight a little bit. Something like this. So let's go ahead and dive into some more cards here for you. My group 5s. And let's see what else we have. Oh, we have the health card and we have beauty and imagination. Okay, let's get into this. So with our beauty card coming up for you, this could also be a year where you are inspired to kind of work on yourself and up-level yourself in some way. You might be inspired, especially with King of Cups coming up too, by the way, because he's connected to the beauty energy. You might be inspired to kind of do things for yourself to make yourself feel your best. To kind of exude and cultivate this essence of beauty in your life. And beauty can be on a physical level with our like appearance, but beauty can also indicate the things that we surround ourselves with and the life that we create, like creating a beautiful life. I feel like it's on multiple levels for you. And I do feel like you might be doing things for yourself. Like I'm hearing hair, especially because we have Leo coming up too, and Leo rules the hair. You might be doing something new with your hair this year. For those of you that have wanted to like grow your hair or just feel more confident, more beautiful in yourself. Oh, confidence and beauty, Sun and Leo. You're definitely going to feel much more beautiful this year. You might be doing certain things that just make you feel literally more beautiful. And also creating more beauty in your life as well. We also have imagination coming through. This is going to be a creative year for you. And I do feel like you have a big imagination, especially 7 of Cups that we had coming out. Like, you are somebody with a big imagination. And this is definitely going to be a year where you are utilizing a lot more of that. And then the fact that we have health coming up too, a lot of you might be taking your health more seriously this year. And so when it comes to like diet and exercise, you might have certain goals or aspirations when it comes to your health and your diet. I feel like some of you might be taking on like a new form of exercise or doing something where you feel more flexible in your body, you feel more healthy in your body, you feel more vibrant. I feel like you're doing that this year, and I feel like it's going to really benefit you mentally, emotionally, and also physically, to be honest. So that is also coming through there. I'm also going to restart my camera really quickly just so that it doesn't cut out on us. Okay, we are back. Let's get some more cards on this reading for you. So we're also going to get an archetype card that's going to resemble the archetype that you were versus the archetype that you are becoming in the year of 2025. So let's see what we get. Ooh. We have the Fool coming out, and we had the Fool coming out in your tarot cards too. Like, what? You literally can't make this up. This is so wild. So let's see. The light attributes is fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Shadow attributes is using humor to wound rather than liberate, or denial of your emotional truth. Ooh, that is powerful. So, how have you been feeling emotionally? How have you been feeling emotionally? Because this card indicates like feeling the need to maybe wear a mask at times. Maybe feeling the need like, oh, maybe I've been putting up this fun face, but maybe deep down inside, there's something that I'm kind of feeling, but I just use humor to disguise it. Or maybe I just disguise it in general because I don't like facing it. I don't like talking about it. The Fool is the card of confronting and letting go of the masks that we feel the need to wear. Another aspect of this is maybe you're not hiding anything emotionally. Maybe you're really checked in and connected emotionally to yourself for some of you. And if that's the case, the Fool would also just indicate the feeling like we need to people please, or the feeling that we're kind of scared to just be fully authentic, to be fully seen, to be fully ourselves. And since we have the Sun in Leo as like a major theme for you this year, this is a major year for you opening up authentically. This is a major year for you letting your true self shine and step into more of the spotlight. So that could be on a grandiose scale, kind of like we've been sort of alluding to, but it can also just be on the scale of like just being seen by the people that are around you, right? Like it doesn't have to be on the most grandiose scale, but maybe it's a little bit of both. The Sun in Leo is really about honoring your authenticity. Not feeling like we need to wear a mask for anyone, not feeling like we need to hide ourselves for anyone. And it's kind of like gaining this confidence to be seen as you truly are, to be open. Oh, I feel like some of you are going to open up about something deep this year. You might open up more and decide like, you know what? I have things to share, and maybe it's important for me to share them. Maybe you're going to open up to be more vulnerable. Maybe you're going to be inspired to open up even just intimately with the close people in your life. But there also might be an opportunity for you to open up in some big ways too. So yeah, there's a lot going on there in that card actually. And I feel like it's actually going to excel you. And the Devil being reversed also connects to that, because the Devil being reversed is also us removing the chains, removing the limitations, removing the masks, removing the falsehoods, removing the illusions. It's really this breaking open. And in this breaking open, there's opportunity to achieve your goals. There's this opportunity for the ending of a cycle and the beginning of an entirely new one, where we feel more healthy, we feel more authentic, we feel more happy, we feel more real, we feel more seen. And through being seen, we actually feel more recognized, more emotionally fulfilled. King of Cups that we had earlier, you're becoming the master of your emotions this year. You're becoming in control of your emotions this year and really filling your cup. That comes through authenticity. That also comes through us being seen and being open. And somehow being open is a major theme for you this year, because it's going to propel you forward in some way. I'm also seeing healing. Through opening, there's going to be healing. And we also have Sage. It'll help you kind of get rid of any negativity that you've been holding on to. It's going to help you get rid of insecurities or feeling a lack of value, because the teeth represent self-worth. And when we have the Sage, which is all about getting rid of negativity, it's getting rid of a negative self-worth. It's getting rid of the things that take away from our self-worth. And then realizing and healing all of that and realizing that you are so worthy just as you are. You don't need to be perfect, right? Getting rid of the perfectionism, stepping into a new beginning here. We also have Reclaim. So this is going to help you reclaim your power. This is going to help you reclaim feeling powerful. Let's see what else we get here for you. That card wanted to fly out there. Let's see. So we also have Speak Truth. Yeah, opening up authentically. Maybe some of you want to step more into speaking or being open in some way. Maybe you're working on your voice in some way this year. working on opening your voice, being seen, being authentic, being heard, speaking your truth with wings wide open. That is going to be a major theme for you this year, and I really see it liberating you and setting you free, and I also see it unlocking opportunities in your life. For some reason within you being you, it's going to unlock opportunities. Wow. So let's see what else we get for you. Any last messages here? We're going to use these oracle cards to connect with any messages that Spirit wants to let you off with, or end you off, or gosh, what are the words I'm looking for right now? That Spirit wants to leave you with for the year of 2025. The messages Spirit wants to leave you with for your year of 2025. I also feel like these cards want to come out, not only that one. Let's see, maybe one more. Okay, perfect. Let's see what we have here for your last messages for your year of 2025, what Spirit wants you to know. So we have, I allow myself to rest and renew my vitality. I think that you're realizing balance is so important this year, and allowing yourself to rest and rejuvenate and renew your vitality is going to be one of the most important things for you. And I see you really making that a priority, especially with King of Cups. I see you doing things for yourself more often, such as like getting massages or going to the spa, or just doing things that kind of relax you, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be those things, but you are doing things that are relaxing to you. We also have, what are some actions you can take to move this stagnant energy? So yeah, when you do feel stagnant, when you do feel stuck, ask yourself, what are some actions you can take to move that stagnant energy? Because it seems like around the second quarter, it's sort of like trying to get the momentum back, trying to get things actually moving, which might require, like, you know, letting go of limiting beliefs, letting go of limiting thoughts, all things like that. Then we also have, I embrace each and every moment and acknowledge how precious they are. Ooh, maybe gratitude is going to be a big practice for you in shifting your energy this year. Like, really starting to see how precious each moment is. Then we also have the card. Things are always changing, shifting, and evolving. What is true today may not be true tomorrow. So remember, just because you might feel one way today, you might feel a million times better tomorrow. There could be a new truth that comes along, all kinds of stuff like that. Then we also have, don't let life be a collection of missed opportunities. This is literally the year of you claiming opportunities. This is the year of you taking it on. So as long as you stick to those commitments to yourself, to continue that path, to continue towards those visions, to step into the spotlight, especially if you feel called to do so, stepping into your authenticity, stepping more into your light. This is what we have. You're going to be reclaiming your power, reclaiming self-worth. You're going to be having the courage to get rid of things that have diminished your self-worth. So that could be like, you know, having the courage to cut away things that make you feel negative. The Sage with the Devil being reversed, you're ready to end habits that have been negative for you. You are ready to end circumstances or relationships that have been negative influences on you. You are ready to let go of mindsets, beliefs that have been limiting for you. You're going to be going through a time of healing this year, of letting go of anything that has been restricting you or being a negative influence in your life, including habits, things like that. So this is going to be a really powerful year for you of healing, stepping into your power, and also gaining the recognition that you have been wanting, gaining some sort of promotion or goal or aspiration that you have been wanting to reach for. So that is coming through all of this year. So 2025 is going to be a really big year for you, my group fives, which, wow, you're group five. We're going into 2025. I don't know why I thought that was an interesting correlation. But anyway, this is definitely going to be a big year for you. Thank you so much for joining me here for today's video. I'm sending you all so much love. And until next time, bye.